Hello out there in the world. Hello friends. Hello gamers. Hello everyone. Welcome to the Noclip Crewcast or podcast, whatever we're calling this. This is episode 283 and we are Danny free. I was back for 1 week. He had enough of my shit and left immediately. And now I'm left to host with the always fantastic crew that we have here on the podcast, including Frank Howley.
That's right.
Hey, come on down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. Up after Frank is the Jeremy Jane, the one and only Jeremy Jane.
Hello. I'm sure there's another. There was a hacker in the 90s named Jeremy Janes, and I told everyone at school that it was me just as a joke.
No, that's cool. I like that. That's good. You took the S off your name so that the government wouldn't find out. The S on the end of your name.
It was the most clever alias ever. I removed one letter.
It's genius. They'll never find you. No one will ever find because they don't know what she looks like. Nocaps is here on the podcast as well.
Yes, I am.
All right, awesome. We have a lot of stuff to talk about this week. A lot of video games, a lot of emails as well. I'm excited to talk about these. I feel like I always end up just having a blast answering the emails. Everyone sends in great questions, great comments, gets us talking about video games. Actually, one of which last week is the game that I played and then we're going to talk about later. We're going to talk about games like Reanimal, 007 First Light, Pinball FX, which is not a video game. Or is it a video game, Frank?
Yeah, it's like a video game platform to play other pinball machines.
Oh,
so
that's
it's got
amazing.
trophies and yeah.
Okay, I can't wait to talk about that. I've also seen a lot of pinball content on the internet. Are you like you've grabbed onto some universal thread out there? I don't know what happened. I'm going to talk about Banishers: Ghosts of New Eden from that email last week that we got about relationships in that game being quite good. I'm excited to talk about that. Nocaps has played Rayman Origins for some strange reason. Skate 3 for some strange reason. There's some sort of retro aesthetic going on here. I can see you're playing a lot of older games. Older, relatively speaking. I mean, they're kids games that we played when we were kids, probably. But that's old to us. Yeah, and we're gonna talk about all of those, and like I said, answer all these emails in just a little bit. But first off, of course, to start this show, we do have to thank all the people who support the work that we do here at Noclip and Noclip_2. Make sure you put the underscore. That's a very important part of the name. If you don't put that, we will sue. But thank you to all the Battle Pass holders over at patreon.com/Noclip2. You support everything that we do even more than the other people who support everything that we do. You, in fact, support quite a lot every single month. So thank you so much to Charles Atkinson, Brian Baru, Yut, Dwayne the Rock Lobster, Anthony Thomas, Nico Passeteri, it's me, Ferrario, Senator Armstrong, Redredge, Harry Flanagan, Juice, I'm messing up all these names, I'm sorry, Juice, Arno, Matt Pearson, Mark Rojas, Quote, Tucker Morgan, David McGarry. You know what, we're halfway through this and I'm realizing I want to split this up a little bit. No caps. You got the doc up.
Okay.
You want to take over?
Sure.
Yeah?
Well, this is a lot of pressure. Okay.
Don't mess it up.
Goddessin, Sven Hooster, Pez, Bone Mold, John Akers, Ewens Nate, Tim Robinson, Forrest Pruitt, Dark Insanities, Jonathan Kremen, and Popcorn Jeremy.
Oh, shit. I was not. I thought I was safe because it had been handed off. Holy shit. Where were we? Jonathan Kremen, Eric Hamilton Schneider, Christoph Patui, Grizzly Mug, Cameron Ladd, Zachary Snader, Alex Goucher, George Zakotas, Jacob Godserve, Sign of the Cross, and the Agen, James Med, and of course, our favorite Poison, Ryson.
We love Ryson. We do love Ryson. We put it in the cigarette. We don't you already spoiled Breaking Bad. I can't give away any more of the story stuff.
Did you edit that out?
I did not edit that out. Okay. I left that in. You know what? That show is old enough. If you don't know what, if someone listening doesn't know that plot point and you got to get like 4 or 5 seasons into the show before you even reach that point. It's fine.
It's true. It's also kind of like a B plot. It's like one of those plots that happens and resolves within one season.
Exactly. I thought you didn't like TV. Is that the one show you've watched?
I think it was before I decided I didn't like TV. I started watching it.
You finished Breaking Bad. You got to that ending and you were like, I'm never doing another TV show for the rest of my life.
I mean, I'll watch a TV show occasionally.
Okay.
Like I watched, it's usually when Chelsea is visiting and she's like, I watched a good show, we should watch it. Because it's like fun to have a show to just throw on. You know, you go out for a day and come home and watch a show. I kind of want to watch Widow's Bay because it takes place and is filmed where I live.
Dude, Widow's Bay is such a good TV show. It is
I want to watch it.
It's a comedy and a horror show. It's amazing. I think it's the Parks and Rec writers or creators. Yeah, I cannot recommend that show enough. Every episode I watch, I'm like, this is what I wanted Alan Wake 2 to be. It's amazing. It's such good.
My only note is I saw the first couple minutes of it because it was on a TV adjacent to me, and there was a ship captain, and he did not have a Boston accent, and I was like, the fuck is this?
I don't think
this
anyone
is
on the show really has a Boston accent.
That sucks.
Yeah.
He was like, he said the word door, and he was like, yeah, my that door has closed, and I was like, if you're like a dude from Gloucester driving a lobster boat, you would have the hardest door.
Yeah, true. I do wish there was a little bit of that, but you know what? They get a lot of other cool stuff in the show.
Don't get me wrong. It sucks when they fake it.
No, for
there's
sure.
very few people.
It's the Chernobyl thing. It's like all the actors didn't bother doing a fake Russian accent because it would have like made it, they wouldn't have been able to nail it. So instead they're like, all right, everyone's just presenting as themselves. So
I like that better. And it adds to the sort of theme of the show. Everything's sort of idiosyncratic. So if you had everybody being from Boston, it would sort of like kill some of the scares. I feel like if you're focusing so much on like the rhotic R's being dropped.
Yeah, like a ghost pops out, they're like, "This fucking guy's over here." Like, I don't know. It's like it's not scary anymore.
If there's a ghost yelling at me in a Boston accent, I'm just laughing at him. I'm sorry. You
sound
like
wicked scary, dude.
All right, Peter
It's
Griffin,
instantly a
settle down.
comedy if someone has a Boston accent running from a ghost. You're right. I was thinking about the same thing. I was watching someone stream 007 First Light, and there's a scene where there were like Montenegrin like terrorists or something, and they're just speaking to each other in English at some point, or maybe they weren't the Montenegrin guys in the intro, but someone who was like not American just suddenly was like, yeah, so I was doing terrorism the other day.
Oh
and
no!
I was like, why would they be talking in English with American accents?
Yeah,
but it's like it's you don't always want to subtitle every bit of dialogue. More than it's a book.
And does it kill the authenticity? You know, you know what's going on. Like Frank said with Chernobyl, it's like, would that show have been better if I had to read subtitles the whole time? I don't know. Maybe like I'm watching these people. I'm like, they're not real Russians. Obviously they're not. That's Skarsgård. I know that's not a Russian guy. Anyway, TV shows. You know, Jeremy, you actually gave the perfect transition. You know, if we're going to hear more about 007 and the Montenegrins and all their war crimes and or not war crimes, we're going to have to find out from Frank Howley, who has played a little bit of it. And I just want to read the note here that he's written next to the game, 007 First Light. Only the first few hours, but don't love it. If you want to hear more from one of the 6 or 7 reviews, I can't believe I did it this early, reviews on the internet that do not like this game, we've got one for you here, folks. Frank, tell us what your issue is with 007
Yeah, well,
First
I mean,
Light.
so like, I'll say
Only
like,
negative.
yeah,
I don't want to hear nice things. I want you to be
That's
mean
not
as hell.
me. I hate
I'm
being
kidding.
negative.
I'm kidding.
That's why
I'm playing.
I'm filled with dread this week because it's like, oh no, I don't like the game that everyone likes. Like, I love fucking James Bond. Like I love James Bond. GoldenEye's my all-time favorite games. I've been going crazy in all the James Bond pinball machines, etc. I was like so excited for this game. I love IO Interactive. I love Hitman. I even bought Mind's Eye, etc. Like the game is good. Like it's like they didn't botch the license. Like it's clever. It's sharp. But like my problem is it's like 10 hours of tutorials, and it drove me fucking crazy. It drove me so crazy. GoldenEye, you're on the dam, you can start killing people. Hitman, there's like a 15-minute tutorial, then the next mission you can do anything. I will say, like, there's a training montage. The way it's like edited and done is like very awesome. Like, you're punching people, cut to, you're at a shooting range, cut to, you're driving. It's like, cool. That, like, they like do like a action movie montage.
Is it like that Cyberpunk opening where there's like the hard cuts between all the different? Yeah, that's
and so
cool.
like that was awesome. But then there's like 3 more hours of tutorials, and it like drove me. But I get it because they're basically reestablishing the franchise. Like it's a full blown reboot, and the reboot is even contextualized in the game. It's like, oh, we're rebooting the 00 program. We're training the new crop of MI6 agents. That's cool. So I get why you have to teach this kid how to fucking hold it, all this stuff. But it was like, man, what I hate is I think like if people went to this having never played a Hitman game, the tutorial stuff is helpful because it plays a lot like Hitman. You're doing gadgets, you're doing takedowns, disguise, survey, like trespassing zones, but it's like they re-tutorialize everything, and it's like, I spent like 100 hours playing the Hitman games. It's just so I'm just like sitting there, but then once the game like breaks free, the average mission, the like flow of a level is like the first quarter is like investigation, roaming around, talking to people, sneaking your way, getting clues, finding the thread, etc. Then, here's a little melee encounter scene. And the melee combat is awesome. It's, like, the lights will flash. You can dodge or parry like Arkham. But, like, the environmental takedown stuff is awesome. You can grab stuff, throw stuff, all that
cool.
combat. It's, like, even more, like, grisly than, like, Last of Us. You're not, like, it's not, like, bloody or gory, but I just mean, like, the like, I don't know, the animation and flow and how it reacts to the actual environment, like pushing people over buildings or whatever. It's like, it's so fucking awesome. I wish there was 100 times more of that in this game. But that's not James Bond. James Bond isn't running around punching people. He's being crafty and clever. I get it. Like,
so what's the split between those two things? Because it sounds like the melee combat, they put a lot of work into making that fun. But if there's not enough of the stealth, that doesn't read 007 to me. So in these first couple hours, what's the split there?
Well, so it's like, well, even beyond, the split between,
just like random getting into big fights and stealthing and sort of being crafty. Is it like a situation where you're being crafty in a level and then you get into a fight, or is it
gates
like
you from like you can't like chase chaos like
okay.
Hitman? You can start and immediately kill people.
Yes.
And it's like awesome. I'm just gonna run up the flight of stairs and get to the target and kill that. With James Bond, it's like they don't let you break chaos. Like it like. And I get it because that's not James Bond's character. I totally get it. So it's like I'm mad at the game because it's not Hitman. I'm mad at the game because it's not Uncharted. I get it, but it's like fuck. That's the thing I would rather have fun doing.
Right.
But yeah, because it's like it keeps you on rails a lot. It's very very on rails. But then when it breaks free, it's so fun. So like then there's gunplay stuff, and the gunplay stuff is amazing. And I've heard the late part of the game is a lot of gunplay. So it's like it's feeding you like these incredible slices of gameplay between hours of cutscenes and like linear, like looking for clues, all this stuff. And it's like shit. I just want to do action.
I just want to play
stuff.
the game. Yeah, you're not a big story guy. How are are you like skipping the cut? Can you skip the cutscenes?
No, you can't skip the cutscene. I will say, like, as opposed to like other games where like the dialogue is grating or whatever. It's like it's everything is like good and clever and like it's good, but it's just like, all right, I don't know. I think it's just because I've seen so many of like, again, I'm just coming from a different level. Like, I've seen all the James Bond movies. I've seen all this stuff, so it's like I don't necessarily want to like be playing a movie. I don't want to be watching a movie. I just want to fucking play. Let me get to the play of it. But when you're there, it's awesome. And so, first few hours is a lot of tutorial, a lot of on-rail stuff. But I feel like I've done like 2 levels now that are like the actual game, and that is good. But like the first 5 hours is so much on-rails tutorials. But yeah, the average thing will be like a quarter investigation, rocking around, roaming, talking to people, crafty, melee stuff, gunplay stuff, car stuff. And that's like, it's a really solid mix. I'm interested to see how they continue doing that every level, and it's probably fantastic. But the first 5 hours of this game, I was like miserable playing it. I did not like it.
Damn.
Yeah.
It does sound like a situation of they're trying to sell this to 007 fans more than they are Hitman fans or IO fans, which, there's pros and cons to that. Like you're saying, as somebody who knows the sort of style of game that they make, getting a 007 is like, dude, just let me play. I know what I'm doing. Let me throw a briefcase at somebody.
And I will say they do the right thing not Spike Lee, but like every single James Bond movie opens with a big splashy like sequence that does that. And I was like, that was cool. Oh no, 4 hours of tutorials before you're having that level of fun again. So it's like, so again, and maybe the game is really long. Maybe it's like a 40-hour. I have no idea. But like, so again, I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm just saying the opening of this game was so slow. It really turned me off. And I just had to keep pushing through it because we had the podcast deadline. Like, let me get to it. And then I was like, oh, fuck. Like, yesterday I was playing. I was like, oh, this is good. But yeah, like, starting it up, I was like, God dang, I don't like it. It's just so slow. But again, in terms of just, like, the history of James Bond games, like, it's good. Now, I do want to, like, play them all. I do kind of want to, like, assess every James Bond game. Like, there's even, like, The World Is Not Enough on, like, N64 and, like, PlayStation, which is, like, I don't know. I kind of want to, like, I like the GameCube, like what was it, Agent Under Fire, all these ones.
That's a
like,
classic, yeah.
Yeah, and so this one's solid, but I need to keep playing it, and I think it's only going to get better the more you play. But yeah, it was just weird. I don't know. I felt bad that I didn't love it, but as someone who's individually loved James Bond games, as someone who's loved Hitman games, like, again, I feel like most people are going to like this, and like, I'm not trying to be like, my opinion's whatever. It's like, this is just how I feel playing in it.
Yeah, that's fine. You don't have to justify it. But like, I do think it's interesting thinking about the way they've interpreted 007, James Bond, bringing him into a video game, because we just had Indiana Jones, a year or two ago, right? Yeah. And I think those two interpretations are so interesting, because the opening to Indiana Jones is like, who Indiana, like, we don't need to introduce you to the idea of Indiana Jones.
And it's literally a scene from the movie in the
that
intro
helps.
to Indiana Jones, which is like a funny, they try to do more parody, Parity, not
Yeah.
P-R-A-R-O-U-I.
They're not making fun of it. He doesn't have a clown nose on. Yeah,
But
I
anyway,
wish.
it's an interesting divergence in approach where they're like, remember this, whereas they're like, I watched I watched a stream of like the first 6 something hours of First Light, and it is interesting how they're like, this isn't like a Bond movie that exists. This is like a Bond movie as a separate entity that doesn't exist. Like they're trying to make it like a Bond movie, but as a video game. But in a weird way, because it's like it feels so much less video gamey to me, kind of, than something like GoldenEye, which is like GoldenEye does not play like a Bond movie. It has like sort of story beats like a Bond movie, but it's like it embraces being a video game so much. Like it doesn't weigh itself down with the sort of structure of that.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played First Light myself. I've only ever seen screenshots that my buddies send me of the tutorials you're talking about, Frank, that are like the tutorial pop-ups. They'll be like tutorials, his face on the side, and then like random text underneath. Well, not random, but like obvious text. It'd be like tutorials, public spaces, tutorials, crouching, like for every single
everything.
thing.
Tutorials, key cards, tutorials.
Jesus,
It's like, I
like,
know
oh my God.
So yeah, it's a kind of weird thing where it's like, is this made for, like, I had someone write where it was like, oh yeah, it's made for like boomers who loved GoldenEye. Like,
Yes.
not GoldenEye, I mean like James Bond movies who've never played a video game. And so it's just like, I wish there was a separate thing that's like, I've played a Hitman game before. Can I, like, I don't know.
I've played Hitman. I know who James Bond is, and you skip the first like 75% of the game.
Yeah, and I generally felt so bad because like all the cutscenes are so well, acted and written, but I'm like, I just want to skip. Yeah, and you can't skip them. You can't. Skip. I don't think you can skip them. And like what I like about Hitman is you can approach a level like 100 different ways, and like the first light, it'll be a thing where there's like. They kind of like, I think Hitman had opportunities. They do the same thing where it's like, oh, here's like 3, as you walk around, you can eavesdrop and find clues. Like maybe you have to get up to this room and there's securities or whatever. And there's like, oh, there's like maybe 3 ways of doing it. And you can like, it'll present you the different opportunities. The problem is all the cutscene tutorial on rail stuff is so tedious that I don't think I'm ever going to replay any of these levels. Whereas Hitman, mission starts, great. You can just sprint, climb, get to like, James Bond, no, there's so much on rails crap. Like a mission starts, you're driving on a road for 10 minutes while people are talking. You park your car, you get out. Who's that? Let me go. It's so fucking slow.
Yeah, I was curious about that because like you said, the linear on rails stuff sort of sounds like it gets in the way of the fun of Hitman. Like how many people are playing Freelancer still to this day and are just like repeating missions over and over again? If they lose that because you got to watch a cutscene or you got to watch Bond do, he does his little thing. That sounds, that sounds unbearable. Sorry, you were saying, go on.
No, yeah. So like, Again, I think if people just want to chill out and like, hey, let me just hang out with Bond all night, then I feel like for most people like this, but for me, it's just like, oh, this is it's so slow. And it's a bummer because like, yeah, when the gameplay slices are there, it's so fantastic. Like the gunplay stuff is amazing, and everyone had said the later half of the game has a lot of that. So so I feel like I've eaten my vegetable, but I like vegetables, but like,
sure, I
don't know. I'm just like. Whatever, but I feel like I've gone past all the crap. Now it's hopefully I'm assuming everything forward's good because yesterday like the like full blown level that was like a mix of everything was like, oh, that was pretty good, that was pretty solid. It like you're in a market in Africa and there's like 10 ways to get your objective, and then every little beat after is like, oh, that was really good, and that felt like the first mission I really liked. Whereas like the 2 kind of open missions were like pretty on rails, and so. And then, there was a sequence where, like, again, I talk about embracing chaos, where it's like, again, you can just go, like, there's some areas you have to sneak through, and if you get caught, you're punching, and then you're, like, Hitman, you're exposed, and you have to make your way. I, like, did an entire section, like, stealth takedowns, and, like, using my watch to, like, distract guards, and I never, and it does a cool thing, too, where it's, like, if your cover is blown, and maybe only, like, 2 people like see you and you take them out before they like Metal Gear, before they call like everybody, it'll be like situation contained. And I was like, oh, so it's a kind of different scale of like, you didn't totally fuck up, it's contained, and then you can go back to stealthing. I was like, oh, that was really cool. So like I felt so proud I did this whole section stealth, and I was like, damn, that's like a perfect example of this game. But that came maybe 5 hours after playing the game. And I was like, oh, so after 5 hours, oh, this is awesome. And now I'm hooked for the rest of it.
And when you think about that duration that it takes to get to the good part, that's 2 James Bond movies.
Right.
And not even the good ones. Like, okay, actually, that's something I was curious about too. I know you're not really like huge on the story, but just from the feel of the cutscenes and maybe the setup of the world, what does this feel like it's trying to do any specific era of Bond, or is this trying to do like the Amazon TV show version of James Bond?
Okay,
we'll get in 2 years. It feels kind of like it's trying to do that.
Is this Rings of Power Bond?
Yeah, it's like it's like they're not. I appreciate they're not it would have been. I feel like they've done previous games where it's like, oh, we're just doing 60s Bond, and I was kind of hoping for that. It's not. It's full blown like millennial or Zoomer, like just present day James Bond. Kids have cell phones and stuff like that. Like, but it's like, oh, okay, so yeah, it's just full blown like reboot Bond, but they're not leaning into. It's not like too campy. Like the writing is clever, and he's got like like just how Agent 47 would have really silly like responses. It's clever. It's not like over the top. It's not Austin Powers. It's not super campy.
God,
right?
I wish.
No,
Dude,
now
Austin Powers 007.
An IO interactive
Yeah, we'll go fucking
Austin
crazy.
Powers game.
if they did an Austin Powers game, it'd be sick. If they did like a John Wick game, as I was playing this, I kept thinking like, oh my god, there'd be so much like, yeah, because Austin Powers would lean into the shtick and camp, and having a AAA prestige like studio do an Austin Powers game would be mind blowing. That'd be so awesome. Or take the phenomenal gunplay Melee, give me a John Wick game where there's no fucking cutscene, like where it's just like, oh, it's just lean, visceral action.
Yeah.
But so it's James Bond.
I am curious about this is not me being like, did you guys know about this like shitty thing about this game? I am just genuinely openly curious about how people feel about this. I thought despite the fact that Bond movies are campy and often have cameos, I thought the cameos in this game were very strange.
What, like the Music Man, Lenny Kravitz?
Well, no, that too, but I'm talking about like they have like a bunch. They put like a Shroud, the Twitch streamer,
the
competitive
streamer?
FPS players in it. Jacksepticeye acts a role in this.
Okay,
like
hold
some
on. What are the
TikToker.
cameos? Are they just like, are they playing a character, or
They're just
are
like
they
random characters in the world. They're not like major story characters. I just thought I thought it was like, I don't know. To me, a Bond game is so much about immersion, whereas like, I don't know, a cameo in a movie feels a little different to me because usually a cameo in a movie would be like an actor whose like skill is acting. It's kind of like the comparison I was using when I was talking to my friends about this was I was not a big fan of Cyberpunk. And I'm not a big fan of Grimes, but Grimes being in Cyberpunk because she contributed music to it almost makes more sense to me because it's like the character was like a musician, right? So she was like a music, like that's someone leveraging their skills. I feel like that's like the sniff test for a cameo for me. Is this are they putting this person on screen so that they're sort of like artificially crafting a viral moment where this streamer sees themselves and their community goes crazy and it becomes like a, whatever, like a clip that people pass around.
Yeah, like if Co Carnage was in Cyberpunk 2077 or something.
Yeah,
he is.
Is he? Yeah, that sounded true. Versus exactly. It's like if the person isn't leveraging a skill, if they're just popping up to sort of what it feels like transparent marketing to me. It's a little odd. It's not like the kind of thing where I'm like, oh, it like ruins the game or whatever. I was just curious how people felt about cameos because to me it feels I don't know. It doesn't work for me, and it's hard for me to envision a person who's like, oh, this game has Shroud in it as like a random guy. Like,
really?
That's so sick.
I'm going to spend $80 on this. Yeah, I think we've talked about this in the past about like trying to market your game by putting people into it. And I don't really know how well that works. Because
it is an odd approach. If
you're a fan of Jacksepticeye, you're watching Jacksepticeye, right? You're not like, oh, a 007 game that he's in, I'm going to go buy that and play it. You were already going to buy it and play it. And you're like the Venn diagram. It's not like doing that pushes more towards a circle. It's like the overlap is sort of still there. Maybe it shifts a little bit, but
I was wondering if it's because like I feel like Bond as a brand doesn't have much relevancy anymore. And I thought maybe it was just sort of like, how can we cognitively embed this in the minds of people under the age of 30?
Maybe. Yeah.
I have no idea.
I could see that also being why it's millennial James Bond. Actually, I probably need to know more about what the cameo is to decide if it bugs me or not. Because if it's just Jacksepticeye's face on a guy called like Sackjepticeye, and he's doing a different thing, but it looks like him, then that would bug me. But if Jacksepticeye's he's done voice acting. He was in Dispatch. He was pretty good in that. Like
That's true. I think his is a voice role. I can't remember if his was a face scan. Shroud's was like a guy who looks like Shroud and is voiced by Shroud. And
did they go to
James
Saudi
Bond
Arabia or something and he was at a tournament? Like, why is he?
I forget. He might be in the. I forget. He might be in the Africa level after you do it's like after a big fight. He's like, well, it was so sick, dude. You were like fucking doing sick combat.
That's bad. That's terrible.
It is. Well, Shroud was also in a commercial for Fallout 76, I think. And it was not, it was really weird and awkward. It just feels very forced to me. Shroud seems like a fine guy. I don't like watch his content or anything. It just is I don't know.
See, like I didn't know who those guys were, and I know the scene that Jeremy's talking about. Yeah, you beats people up, and it's like that was a sick fight. And I just thought that was like just an MP. I didn't know that was like supposed to be like a moment. I was like, okay. I was like, all right, like skip. I like was walking past the NPC going downstairs.
He's trying to have a conversation with you. He's like,
whoa,
I'm Shroud, dude. You're like,
so
I
they
don't
don't like
know who that
say like,
is.
hey, it's like, so it's like it's only if you know who those. I don't know.
Yes.
That's a good point.
That's it.
I guess it
exactly.
doesn't operate as cameo if you don't know those people, which is like what a good cameo should do. It should blend in and not
It should stop the camera on him, have a little lower third that pops up like
A
Shroud.
QR
Pull
code.
up the
that you-
Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
See how many followers they have.
Scan this to become a tier 3 sub on Twitch. Yeah. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
Well, hey.
I was just curious about it because it's again, it's like I wouldn't be like I'm not going to play this game because it has like fucking cameos in it. I just think it's
Just awkward.
I don't know. Yeah, when marketing feels that transparent to me, it feels manipulative is too strong a word, but it puts I feel weird about it. Like
No, I get it.
like,
I don't want to be reminded of the internet when I'm playing a video game. I just
I
want
want
to
to
be
be
playing
Yeah, it
fucking
also,
James
like,
Bond.
It'll date it too.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
and just make it. I don't
Totally.
know.
No.
Probably bad.
No, you're
in the
100%. At some point, something will come out and we'll be like, oh, maybe they'll put Shroud in there. Yeah. You're always sort of rolling the dice when you put a YouTuber or any internet personality in your video game. It almost feels like a curse. It's like when you put someone on the NBA cover, it's like, oh, well, now they're going to have a bad season. It's the same thing. You put a YouTuber in a video game and they're screwed. That's the end of it. They're going to say something horrific on the internet. Usually they do it for free. So, all right. Well, hey, 007
Before we
First
move
Light.
on from this game,
Yes.
I can't get over the IO Interactive Austin Powers game. I need that to
No,
fucking
I 100%.
exist so
Frank
bad.
said it and it's stuck in my brain now. That's all I can think about.
That'd be so
Maybe
good.
they'll announce that today at the State of Play.
Yes,
That would
that's
be
right.
a fucking insane. I would buy a lottery ticket if we predicted the Austin Powers IO game.
Yeah. I mean, it's in 3 hours, so the audience knows whether or not we're right already, but we will find out in 3 hours. And we'll talk amongst ourselves, and if we're super wrong, we'll delete the episode because that's such a good idea. We don't want anyone to have it if they aren't already making it. It's okay. The game will be canceled in the next 6 months. It won't even come out. I love the games industry. Okay, 007 First Light. Sounds like maybe it'll get better. We'll hear more from Frank in the future, but you can check it out for yourself on every platform currently available, including Switch 2 for some strange reason. It's on there. Looks like it runs fine, so that's cool. Yeah, check it out. Brand new video game. I would like to play that myself. We own it on Steam. My little Steam family. Somebody bought it, so I might have to hop in myself. I want to hear a little bit about this because I noticed that there was a announcement for Rayman Legends making a comeback. They're doing a remaster, remake, recollection of some sort of the sequel to this game. But nocaps, you were playing the original in the newest line of Rayman games, Rayman Origins. First, why? Is it because you heard about the Legends thing? And second, how you liking it? It's a great game, I think.
The why is because Frank inspired me to acquire an Xbox 360 from
This is the
from
power
a
of Frank
family
Howley.
member. Yeah. And they had that game. So I've been playing through it with my girlfriend like, completely in co-op, which has been like really fun. But then, yeah, I did hear about the remake, but I haven't really looked into it. But we also have Legends, so I'll play that next and then see which one's better, I guess. But yeah, I've been playing Rayman Origins, and also Skate 3, and it's just been so fun to be not completely, but kind of disconnected from the internet while playing games and not having to like plug my computer into the TV and just having a separate thing that is not work, even though I'm talking about it here. But yeah, Rayman Origins is fun. It's also really tough. I like doing the challenge levels, the tricky treasures, and it's got like some of the best game music ever.
Yeah.
Like that. Those songs have been stuck in my head. I'll just be singing it around the house.
Oh, there's like covers of music that you do in some of those challenge levels that are, the covers are fun even. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's just
that's an older
fun.
game. It's like 2011 Rayman
so, yeah.
Origins. Yeah, Ubisoft developed game or published and developed probably. Yeah, that's going back to that for you. I mean, what's it like? Because that's 15 years removed. So I mean, it's been a while. It's been a while. How does it feel going back to a platformer like that when we've had so many iterations on what Rayman ended up doing? I think it sort of inspired a lot of later 2D platformers.
I mean,
Does it still holds up?
It definitely holds up. I was kind of surprised by first of all, it looks great. Like it looks like it could have came out today.
Yeah. That UbiArt framework they were using at that time. Monumental stuff.
I don't know what they were doing, but it looks great. But I mean, it's challenging. There's like a good variety of levels. There's some of the stuff I don't like, and some of it maybe towards the end is a little. It's not as fun. Just like they were crunched for time or something and didn't like have the impact as much of an impact as the first levels. But I would highly recommend that anyone who hasn't played it, if there's anyone who hasn't played it out there that likes platformers, to go play it because it definitely stands up.
Yeah, it really, I feel like it's one of those games, and there's a reason, obviously, Ubisoft can tell as well that they're bringing back Rayman Legends, whatever they were doing at that time with that particular kind of platforming, the sort of like floaty jump, the puzzles they include in the middle of platforming to sort of break up the gameplay. All of that stuff really works for Rayman in the newer iteration. Although it's funny because like, I think it has sort of that 007 problem of like, do kids even know what a Rayman is? Like, do they know that the hands are disconnected from the rest of the body? Like, why would they be excited for Rayman Legends coming back? But hey, I mean, there's a lot of excitement for it from people who are roughly our age or older. For, it's just fun to play a good platformer. Nice to play one of those. And what do you think of Skate 3? Because this is Skate 3 is that's the GOAT. That's one of the classics. I mean, I prefer Skate 1 personally, but Skate 3 is great. Yeah, what are you thinking on that?
I really like Skate 3. My other skating game that I played a long time ago is Pro Skater 4, I think. It's the one that has Alcatraz. So there's either 3 or 4. Obviously,
Frank's nodding, so it's got to be. He's the expert.
But yeah, this is a lot different than that. But I don't know. I kind of miss, though, how there's like the Tony Hawk had like all the different really distinct maps. But I really like the challenges in this one. It looks like there's maybe more of a variety, and I really like the Hall of Meat stuff.
Yeah, that stuff's
just like it's the kind of thing that like if my mom saw that as a kid, she would like not let me play that game. Probably.
Wait, what is the Hall of Meat? I've never played Skate 3.
It's like these challenges where you have to bail off like a tall building, and then you can do like a cannonball or like a Superman and just crash in the ground and break as many bones as possible and get points for it.
Awesome.
And it like shows, it's just like an x-ray of your body of like all the bones that you broke.
They did it before Mortal Kombat. They were ahead of their time. They knew.
Oh.
Or it might have been around the same time. Yeah, that stuff's great, man. Skate 3, what a classic. I mean, New Skate. Does New Skate have that stuff? I'm calling it New Skate. Skate period, Frank. Does that have the
No, so
X-ray
like
stuff?
Thrasher was Hall of Meat is a Thrasher copyright. And so the New Skate, they like didn't incorporate that. So now I don't think they call it Hall of Meat. Maybe they do, but like there are some missions where you still have to do that stuff. But like Skate 3, they literally made it a whole separate campaign of like, here's the Hall of Meat campaign. And it was, it's copyright Thrasher magazine. So in the New Skate, like there is like those kinds of challenges, but it's not as like, I don't know. Again, the New Skate is like very whatever. I don't know, but like they didn't like brand it as heavily but there's still missions of like, you have to cannonball and hit these things. But even
Yeah, hey, that's a shame that they didn't bring that stuff along. But I mean, it's fine. One day they'll make Skate 4 and actually call it Skate 4, and it'll be great. It'll be perfect. Nothing will go wrong. Okay, so that sounds like you've had some fun going back to some classics. Are there any other retro? And unfortunately, you also have it in quotation marks. The Xbox 360 is approaching retrograde. Is there anything else that you're excited to check out from the 360 era? Any other cool discs that you got?
Yeah, I have in the mail right now. I have Viva Pinata.
Yes.
Nice.
And Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts and
all right.
Sonic Generations.
Sick. That's what a lineup. If I got to go back and play all those games for the first time, that would be quite a cool feeling. It's like, because the Xbox 360 had some pretty good games on it every once in a while.
Yeah, I'm not really interested in like, like
you
the
play Gears of War? No?
which is like, I mean, maybe I'll play that, but I want to do like the platformer, colorful children's games first, like redo all the Lego games because I played those on Wii, and I think I'm gonna get my Wii, and then I have some like GameCube stuff for that. But yeah, going back to my childhood.
Good. Hey, it's just about time, right? You gotta, you're gonna have a little midlife crisis. It's time to get into it. We all have to at some point. Okay, I have my Nintendo 3DS. I'm getting it ready to start work. I want to play more puzzle games. It's great.
I never stop playing Super Nintendo games. It's
You
just
should
been a
never. They're all.
continuous-
It's the best. We never had to go past the SNES, and yet
My
we did.
midlife crisis will be when I stop playing Super Nintendo games because I'm like, oh god, I'm dying. I need to do something else.
As soon as you tell me that like Secret of Mana is bad, I'm gonna assume something. I'm gonna send someone to check on you. We'll do wellness checks.
Yeah, 5150 me. Put me in the asylum if
Yeah.
I start talking shit like that.
Well, nocaps, keep us posted on your retro gaming arc. Maybe you'll get to try any other consoles once you've expended all of the childish, fun, bright, colorful video games on the 360. You gonna hop over to PS3 and play like the 3 games on that worth playing?
No. But I do want a PS1 or a PS2. That's like my big thing. But I'm just doing the like free consoles that I can access easily right now. But yeah, I want to play PS2, PS1 games, just like every single platformer and puzzle game and like everything that I missed out on because I was like 0 to 7 years old.
Yeah, I feel that. There's a lot of stuff that came out that these guys are like excited. Not that you guys are that much older than me, but like Danny especially, they're like very excited for it. I'm like, I don't know, man. Yeah. I don't know. I was like 3 years old. My first console was a Wii. I don't know anything about video games.
That's crazy.
I know, that sucks, right? It was, actually,
it doesn't suck. It's just that's just wild.
No, it sucks. I'm terrible. No.
Dude, you're young. That sucks.
What a jackass. I had an N64. I did play Diddy Kong Racing, so I'm with you in the field on that. I'll fight.
N64 is so good. I saw someone post an ancient forum post from 1997 about someone being like, oh, if you hear PlayStation fans calling it the like Pretendo 69 and making fun of it, like fucking say this to them. And I thought it was so funny because I was 6 years old when that was posted, and I was just blissfully unaware of discourse, and I was like, I just need to like stop using the internet.
And unfortunately, you didn't.
I feel like I would just like play. Like when I played Remnant 1, I was like, this is like the most fun I've had with a 7 out of 10 game in a very long time. And it's because I don't know if it's good or bad. I don't care what anyone thinks about it. I just played it with my friends because it was like free on Epic Games or something. Right. And it's like, I feel like, I don't know. I often talk about going into games blind for more like narrative and immersion reasons, to go in and be like, wow, I'm delighted and surprised to figure out that this is this kind of game, or it has this structure or this mechanic or this narrative twist or whatever. But it's like we were talking about nocaps. You said you were reading a book and then you were like, oh, I saw a review that said the author is like annoying for this reason and now I can't unsee it. I think it's like, I don't want to know if a game is bad. The only reason I would want to know is if it's like an $80 game and I'm spending a ton of money on it. I feel like that's the utility of reviews, but it's like, I don't know. If it's like under $20, I would rather just play it, not know if it's dog shit. Yeah, all I want to know at that point is, does it work, basically? Even with the more expensive games, a lot of the time, I'm like, I just want to know that it doesn't explode when I turn my console on, That's about it. But I'm not going to buy an $80 game unless it's something I'm interested in to begin with. So, yeah, it's nocaps has the benefit of every video game that you're going to play on any of these old consoles, especially Xbox 360. Frank can speak to this. They're like all $5 now at best on disc. So that's a pretty cool time. You can build up a massive library of like, I don't know, 99 Nights, White Knight Chronicles. There's a lot of bad games on Xbox 360. Blue Dragon, that one's fun. You can play Blue Dragon. And when you get your PS2, like you said, whole new world. Every mascot platformer worth playing. All the cool Japanese games. You've got no shortage there. Actually, Jeremy, you're speaking on something that I wanted to talk about with the game that I played this week, Banishers: Ghosts of New Eden. Because if you go into something with expectations set by somebody else, sometimes it can ruin your experience with a video game or improve it. So last week we got an email about Banishers: Ghosts of New Eden that told us that it had one of the best relationships in video games, sort of underrated game. More people should talk about it. And me, I like a good relationship in video games. I like a good romance game. I play some VNs. I know all about that stuff. I get into it. I was curious what they meant by that. I think I made a point that like, if you're going to say a game has a good relationship, the bar is on the floor, but also, I'm expecting a lot. It's fine. So Banishers: Ghosts of New Eden is like a third person. It feels a lot like God of War. In fact, my wife at one point was like, are you just playing God of War? This just looks like God of War. This looks like they wanted to make God of War. The animations look like God of War. The new one, like 2016, and Ragnarok in the same style. You play as a couple. Well, you play as one person basically the whole time. I won't spoil the setup, I guess, but maybe there's like a dual world thing where you can see different things in the same environment if you want by just pressing a button. You play as one of two characters. They are banishers who show up on this. Show up in America, and it's like the 15th, 16th century, something like that. It's like very early America. Might be the 17th century, and you are essentially witch hunt or like ghost hunters. You're the Ghostbusters, and some people might call them that. And you are going around. The beginning of the game is you're investigating a death that's happened in a small town, or a curse that's on a small town rather, and a death of your friend, and you're like trying to figure out what happened. And the game is like split into this
investigation style gameplay where you're walking around environments, looking into what's going on, trying to read notes, figure out why there's a ghost here and resolve that, perhaps through combat, which is the other half of the game. Purely mediocre, perfectly fine, late Xbox 360, early Xbox One hack and slash combat. You press a couple buttons, things die, you get orbs, you level up. You've done it before a million times. The standout thing from this game, from what I've heard from a ton of people, including that email in the past, is the relationship between the two main characters. I don't remember their names. I was just playing the game for hours. I couldn't tell you. Red, I think, is the guy's name. And I want to say the woman's name is like Antea or something like that. They are in a relationship, but like they're definitely in love. Like they say they're in love a lot. And it seems like there's a lot of like passion there to an extent, but it's sort of awkward because like they don't establish the degree of the relationship. They're like, she's my boss and also my wife, girlfriend. It's whatever. It is what it is. Love is love. But the thing I find interesting about writing for relationships in games, and I don't know if you guys get this similar thing of like, it feels like a lot of the time when I'm playing a game and there's a relationship between two characters, a romantic relationship, it's like, it's always professing. Like it's always telling each other you love each other, saying it out loud. And like, that's not what love is. Like love is minor interactions. It's like small things. It's the way that it's stuff that's unsaid or unseen or unheard. And it's like, you can't do that in a video game. That's not exactly an enticing idea, but I just find it, I don't know. I need to see more of the relationship, I guess, to really get a feel on it. I'm about 5 hours into the game and there's been a lot of cutscenes, a lot of moments. Actually, do you guys mind, if you're listening to this, you can also skip ahead, but do you guys mind if I just talk about like the main story setup for this game to sort of get my point across?
No, it doesn't bother me.
No issue. Nobody wants to play it. All right. I get it. So
That's what convinced me to play it.
Yeah. Oh, I bet everything I said just really sold you on it.
Leveling up with orbs, that's my kind of shit.
So that is good. You kill ghosts, you get orbs and you level up, or like you get like spirit dust or something. And then when you rest at a campfire, you can like level up your abilities. You would hate the equipment upgrade system though. You like go into a menu and upgrade everything manually, but like, why would you not just give me the better gear? I don't want to have to press 3 buttons to get the stat upgrade. Especially if I'm going to do it anyway, and I can only do it when I rest. That's stupid. Anyway, so the story setup for the game that I find kind of funny is like so very early on when the two Banishers are in the beginning town, there's like a boss fight that happens. It feels like you're just doing the boss fight. It seems like it's the character that's causing the curse over the town of New Eden that you've traveled to. And in the middle of the fight, your wife is killed in a cutscene and you can't do anything. I'm going to say wife. I don't know if they're married. Gets killed in a cutscene and you can't do anything about it. And then your player character Red is dropped into the ocean and her ghost you eventually find. Now the Banishers, their whole thing is like banishing the ghosts. That's what they do. But unfortunately now your wife is a ghost. So like, what do you do? Like, are they're constantly saying at the beginning of the game, death to the dead, life to the living. That's like their motto. So when they run into the situation of like, oh shit, I keep killing everyone's partners and like making their ghosts go away, but now my partner's a ghost. Oh, what do I do?
That is a pretty interesting setup, actually.
So
like in terms of scenario craft, that's pretty good.
It genuinely is. And I think I want to see where this goes, but it's funny the way that you have to systematize a relationship. This is the funniest part of the game to me, is like, there are moments so far anyway, where your wife character, where Antea, she and Red can, like I said, switch sort of positions and like see the world. You can see the ghost world as Antea and you can interact with different things and like reveal stuff. And it seems almost more convenient. In fact, I would argue necessary for the game for his wife to be dead. Had she not died, you would not be able to progress in the game, which is like, it just seems kind of weird in that way. Like, it doesn't seem like a metaphor. It just seems like, oh, if my wife wasn't dead, I couldn't get over this bridge, like I'd be dead. I'd be stuck here.
Yeah, that is a really mundane expression of a very poetic idea.
Yeah, it's like the interesting thing to me is like the game sets up the idea that this character is dead. You have to accept her death. But also you don't have to accept her death. You can eventually save her if you're willing to sacrifice enough people. There's like a magical ritual that you can do to bring her back later in the game. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not there yet. But like they give you the option whenever there's a side quest or a main quest that's resolved, you have a couple of options that you can take. You can either banish or ascend the ghosts, which is like send them to heaven or send them to hell, basically. Or you can blame the human who caused the death. And this counts as a sacrifice for you to do the ritual later in the game to bring your wife back. Now, systematizing it in that way is weird because like your wife character, Antea, is just like there all the time. It feels torturous. She can't do anything. You have all control over her. She has no autonomy, but like maybe you can bring her back with a spell that seems dangerous, or you can ascend her and like send her off. And I do think there's a story there about trauma, right? And like dealing with grief. Like when you have a terminal family member or a terminal anyone, like wife, friend, stranger that you see on a regular basis, it's hard to see them and like know that there is an end coming. And like, how do you deal with that on a personal level? I think there's a lot of interesting stuff that they're exploring even now narratively of like these two characters. How do they, when their job is sending people off, how do you deal with that when it's your own partner? It's a very hard thing to establish both for Red and for Antea and the position that both of them are in. The funny thing is when they show you that, they're like, here's an oath. They pop up like a screen with two UI options of like, what are you going to do? Are you going to save your wife? Do you promise to save your wife or do you promise to send her to heaven? And it's like, when I make the option, I'm like, this is so bizarre, man. This is not how anything happens in life. Why, is this like a checkbox I got to fill in? I don't know. That stuff I find very strange, but I do think the narrative setup is really interesting. I do want to play through more of it and see where that stuff goes. Unfortunately, the combat is just so like rote and not exciting. And most of the gameplay is kind of whatever. Like I do like the story setup so far of like the relationship, but also there's a couple of haunts, I think they call them, where there's like a ghost and you have to figure out how to get rid of the ghost. I think that's an interesting idea, even if it's just, read enough things in the environment until you figure out what you have to go interact with. So I will report back with more thoughts. The relationship stuff, I'm not 100% on if they're pulling it off, because it does just kind of feel like they say they love each other all the time. Even if like the meta overarching thing with their relationship is interesting, the actual meat of it, I don't think is quite working for me yet. It doesn't feel like a relationship. It just feels like two people written to love each other, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I don't know. We asked the question last week. I don't know if you guys had a chance to think about it a little more. Are there relationships in video games that work for any of you that you remember fondly at all since we've had that chat? It's just been like spinning around in my mind. Are there any games that have decent relationships? Nope. All right.
Bella Goth from The Sims and her husband.
That's a good pick.
No,
that's
I'm just joking.
Pick. No, that's also Frank's pick.
I don't know. It's hard. I don't think there's that many great relationships in games. If we compiled a list of them, I wonder how many of them, like if you compiled a list of best written relationships in games and best written relationships in like literature or film, I feel like it would be a very disproportionate, like comparing them would be, you'd be like, oh, like John Marston and his wife. But actually that's a pretty good one.
Yeah. Okay.
All
there
right,
you
take
go.
it back. That's top 10 probably.
All right, I like that. How's the, we never got into this. How are the femme fatales or like relationship stuff in 007, Frank?
Maybe that's why I feel like we haven't gotten to the good stuff yet. Like, so like there, yeah, I think.
Is it not horned up? There's no horn?
Not enough. Not enough.
All right.
So in the montage, there's like one scene quick. But then, yeah, so far as you're playing, it's like, I don't know. So yeah, that's why I keep playing it, but
I'm just waiting for it. Wait, bring them. Nocaps, do you have anything for this? Have there been any relationships in video games that stuck out to you? Or if you had time from last week to sort of think about that a little bit?
Nothing comes to mind. Like the one thing I can think of when there is a relationship is Ellie and Joel, but like.
Yeah. Not romantic.
Yeah.
Alphys and the skeleton from Undertale. What's his name?
Put it that way.
I do like in Final Fight, the whole like reason for the adventure is the Mad Gear gang steals Cody's girlfriend and Mike Hager's daughter. But the fact that Cody fights the entire Mad Gear gang through Metro City is pretty heroic. So that's yeah.
There's a lot of that from beat 'em ups where there's like you got to go save the girl. That's early
Classic
video games.
Damsel in distress.
That's
right,
baby.
Mario, Peach, and the Mario, Peach, Bowser love triangle.
The best relationships that we could think of in video games include most of the women being kidnapped. Actually, that is another part of Banishers that bugged me. Was like the game starts out with you playing as Antea. You learn how to play with her. She's the expert on being a person. So I get like being a Banisher. So I get why they chose Red, because narratively he doesn't have all of the understanding. So like you get to level him up. He gets to get experience. I understand why they do that. But I was like, dude, we're doing dead wife again. They're having their dead wife and eating her too in this game. It's crazy. Like they're not sacrificing the chance to tell a story where like, oh, the husband's dead this time. What do we do with that? It's like, no, the wife's dead and she gets to hang out with you. It's the best of both worlds. That's what everyone says. Yeah. There you go. Banishers Ghost of New Eden. It's a video game.
There are a lot of video games that are dead wife or angry dad.
Yeah, and the dad is angry because the wife is dead, like 95% of the time. It's crazy. Actually, even in Joel's case, wife dead, kid dead, second kid, crazy. Wild how that goes. They should make a third The Last of Us. Well, Jeremy, you've dealt with a specter in your own home, one that is Yellow Jacket based or themed. Perhaps it was just a Yellow Jacket. It wasn't a specter. It was just a big ugly bug that you had to get rid of.
It was scarier than The Exorcist though, which I watched recently for the first time.
Oh, okay.
It was I think the Yellow Jacket that I mentioned to you guys banging against my window at the start of the podcast found its way in, which is odd because the window is closed and there's a screen on it.
Well, maybe it phased through the glass. It's one of those.
Maybe in the ghost world, the window was open. Yeah.
Maybe it was a fucking ghost Yellow Jacket. Well,
You're
no,
so
I
smart.
smashed it and it exploded into guts, so it wasn't a ghost. But
I mean, you're in the right area. Banishers takes place in the Northeast, so yeah, maybe it really was. Who's to say? If you find another ghost that's like glowing blue, and is that dead Yellow Jacket's husband, then you'll know what happened.
I prefer to think of it as not killing a bug, but banishing a demon from my home.
You should have ascended it instead, man. You're a bad person.
Oh no, it's condemned to hell, to like fiery puritanical New England hell.
Good fucking riddance.
Sinners in the hands of an angry god hell.
What's New England hell? Is that just like South Boston?
It's just Dorchester.
Yeah.
No, it's like New England hell is like hell as envisioned by the fire and brimstone preachers of that era.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the sinners in the hands of an angry god. If you want to know what I'm talking about, go look up Jonathan Edwards, Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God. That's my idea of New England hell.
I love when we break into a little literary discussion on here instead of talking about video games. That's all
When we talk about fucking 18th century fire and brimstone preachers.
It's important. It's an important part of history, especially American history.
Yeah, we should do more theologian breakdowns.
I would. Hey, you joke, but people love the Pentiment doc. I think they go crazy for that stuff. We should do more of that.
I mean, I would be fucking.
Someone
I would
asked
love
for a
if
book
we had
club in the Discord.
If we had a podcast that wasn't allowed to be about video games, I still think that would be a fun side podcast.
I have pitched that. I think we all have for Noclip 2 of doing like a anything but video games podcast. If you just called it anything but video games, that would also be a fun title. I love saying
call
that.
it Please God Anything But Video Games.
Yeah, dude. Yes. Yeah. Welcome back to anything but video games. Every single week, I get hype as fuck for that. Plus, we all like stuff that's not video games. It's great. It's the best part of being alive is not video games.
Whoa, let's
sorry.
not get
All
carried
right,
away.
my bad. I love video games. That's the other podcast that I'm starting. But you know what? Let's talk about video games some more, Jeremy. You've played a video game this week. Maybe
I did. Yes. Forgive me if I'm a little scattered. I'm still coming down from the adrenaline rush of
It's okay. Did you play Buck Bumble?
Of condemned.
Is that what it was?
demons.
Is that what you were playing?
No, you are a bee. You don't kill bees, right? In that
I mean, what's the difference?
Buck Bumble. Is this about a bee who's on a dating website?
Oh my God, that's awesome! Buck Bumble 2, bring it back. We got Bubsy 4D and it's a platform that's good.
Mascot
Do it
of
like
Bumble, the app.
that. Yeah, they weren't
No,
cowards.
I never played Buck Bumble, but maybe I'll pick that up.
Well, you did play Reanimal this
I
week.
did play Reanimal, another game about animals. Yeah,
you also play as a bumblebee. That's interesting. All right.
That's not true. That's a
Okay,
lie. Don't
all right.
believe his
My
lies. Reanimal is a game by Tarsier Studios, who made the first two, but not the third. Let me confirm that that's true. The first two Little Nightmares games, but not the third.
This one. Okay.
I have played the first Little Nightmares game. I have heard the third one kind of fell a little short of the reputation of that series, which people really like. I liked the first Little Nightmares. I wasn't as crazy about it as many people are. But Chelsea really wanted to play Reanimal, and it is a co-op little kids running around in scary world.
It's a Little Nightmares like.
It's a Little Nightmares like, yeah. It is sort of a mix between. It's a horror game, but like cute horror, but like genuinely terrifying shit happen. Like it's not like Tim Burton cute. It's like Tim Burton when Oogie Boogie shows up cute. It's you're like these little kids running around, and there's like stealth horror shit and kind of like puzzle horror. It's very like set piecey. It's not like it's hard to pin it down.
Much
as a
like the
genre.
Little Nightmares games, they were also very set piecey.
Yeah. It's also kind of like a platformer sometimes, but not all the time. I guess it's like a horror puzzle platformer with stealth sections is how I would describe it. But I was kind of expecting it to be like co-op gets like a plus a letter grade just for playing it with someone else. Like there's a sort of co-op buff that happens. So I was expecting it to be like fun enough, but not be crazy about it. I actually really love this game.
Wow. Okay.
I think it's really, really, really great. And I'm saying that as someone who was not crazy about Little Nightmares 1, which is kind of the one that got people like, I don't know how people feel about 2, but I know 3 was kind of like disappointing. So the what was sort of like the high point in my mind of this type of game is eclipsed by Reanimal. So it's like the things I like about it are, I felt like Little Nightmares was this is a hard genre to game design, I think, because a lot of what Little Nightmares is you're like a little person in a room. The room is big. There's a big, like, scary man in the room. Oftentimes he's like doing it. He's like cooking a pie full of children or whatever. And you're like sneaking around the legs of the table. This is sort of an ersatz description of what most Little Nightmare scenarios are like. Then you work through these set pieces with these big, like, creatures or people or whatever, and you're sneaking around, you're hiding behind fucking table legs. This is kind of the whole game. In Little Nightmares, to me, it was very frustrating because it felt like every step of the way was just a very bespoke solution that they wanted you to intuit to every situation.
Right.
So it was like, you would walk in, the guy would spot you and he would eat you. And then you would walk in and he would eat you. And then the third time you'd be like, oh, I can hide behind this, whatever, this cup of sugar.
Yes.
And then none of these are real things from the game. I'm just sort of like
it's a good approximation. It's good.
This is what it feels like.
Yeah.
And then you're like, all right, I hid behind the cup of sugar. So now, like, he turns around again. I'll run from there to whatever the next thing I can hide behind. Oh, he saw me. All right, die, repeat, start at the cup of sugar. That kind of frustrated me because I really don't like sort of instant fail stealth sections. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of skill expression to me. It feels like I'm just trying to understand what the game designer wanted me to do. And not in a fun way where I'm like, it felt like very binary. It was either like you either know where you're supposed to go and when, or you've failed the steps to the dance and you repeat the dance from like step 3 or whatever you were on.
Right. Not unlike the early Playdead games like Limbo or Inside even. To an extent. Yeah.
But something that Reanimal does better, I think, is that it feels like there's a little more wiggle room where, like, certain scenarios, you'll like see where you're going, and it does have that sort of like the guy turns around, don't move, he turns back around, move from like A to B or whatever. But there's often sort of an escape point, and if you get close enough, you can kind of be like, oh shit, he spotted us, make a run for it. And there's a little bit more like. I think it's fun to have those almost fail moments where you get away with it. I felt like there was more opportunities for that. I also felt like there was more sort of like interesting expressions of what you can do with co-op horror. Like there's I won't spoil too many mechanics or whatever, but there's a section where you get tied together, and then there's like a bunch of sort of weird platforming puzzles where it's like you have to position yourself to allow the other person enough slack to do something very, very sort of like
that's kind of cool,
with a narrow window of failure.
Yeah.
And then they have to reposition in that for you to make progress and stuff. So yeah, just sort of like it felt more varied in its game design than Little Nightmares to me. And yeah, I don't know, maybe I wasn't in the right mood for Little Nightmares, or maybe having another person in the game like made me more open to it. But it felt to me like subjectively sort of more not forgiving, because it was like equally challenging, but just kind of like more varied in what you're doing and more sort of like expressive for the player. And the art style is just like unbelievable. It's very rare that something feels like old Tim Burton to me, or like the old, is it Leica Studios who did a bunch of the stop motion stuff? Yeah. This kind of hits that same note where it is cute. Like you'll often see things and be like, oh, look at these like cute characters, but then a weird like slender tall man in a hat will show up in like an ice cream truck, and it's like and he like abducts a child in his ice cream truck, and you're like, this is like pushing up against some very weird subversive shit where I don't know. It's not like implying anything that's too untoward, but it's kind of like skirting up against real world horror of being a child and how adults can be like scary. That I think was like, yeah, I don't know. It's not like it's not going crazy. It's not like alluding to like real life tragedy that happens to children. But I feel like by sort of borrowing themes from, like the type of like stranger danger shit your parents would warn you about when you were a little kid, it's like, it kind of evokes that feeling of being a kid and just like learning for the first time that there were like bad people in the world or something. And I think that's a really interesting area for horror that is is kind of underexplored because it's like it's a really dark. It's not like a fun subject matter for a video game to be like, oh yeah, like children getting abducted. Let's make a video game about that.
Human
A nice
trafficking.
co-op game.
Press X to not let that happen. There's a lot of actually not even just horror stuff. I feel like a lot of 90s, 80s children's movies in general would include sort of concepts like that. Like All Dogs Go to Heaven is actually a really sad movie. If you go back and watch it, can you believe it? The movie about dogs going to heaven is sad. But like if you go back and watch it, you're like, oh, I think I watched it when I was a kid, and I was like, Jesus Christ, like no pun intended. Like there's dogs have like halos and they go to fire, and there's like implied stabbing. Like it's stuff like that when you include those elements of storytelling. Obviously, Reanimal doesn't sound like it's a game for kids. It kind of sounds more like it's a game for adults that goes over that subject matter. But I do think that there should be at least a little bit more willingness to introduce kids to that, because Coraline is a children's movie. But I mean, as you've pointed out, it's pretty fucked up. It's not quite as bad as what it sounds like Reanimal's getting into, but it's still, I don't know. I wish more children's movies were willing to get a little dark like that.
Yeah, it is interesting that there's like, because like you said, this is not a game for children. Like the weird hat man, if he catches you, like picks you up and bites your head off, and it's legitimately like fucking shocking.
I'm sure the sound design's disgusting, like it was in Little Nightmares 1.
Yeah, it's goopy. But there is an interesting sort of like meeting point where this feels like it's doing that like challenging horror for children, but for adults. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Like it's evoking that type of media where it was like you saw it as an 8-year-old and it traumatized you, but it was like for kids. I feel like it's doing that, but for adults in an interesting
kind of like
way.
Disney adults, but if they were only into The Nightmare Before Christmas.
It's nothing like Disney adults.
It's exactly
Take
like
that back right now.
I'm sorry.
It's like the Book of Boba Fett. Basically.
Yes, dude, it's just like Mandalorian Grogu, but for
just
horror.
Like Grogu. My friend went to see Backrooms, and he texted me a picture of the like tablet in the movie theater where you buy swag and merch and food and shit, and it was a picture that just said Mandalorian and Grogu, and it was a popcorn bucket, and they were like $55 for a Grogu popcorn bucket.
What do you put your hand in like Grogu's head? Like what are they gonna do?
So the Mandalorian one was it looked like a stainless steel trash can with a flip top lid, but it was Mandalorian's helmet.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Full of popcorn, not trash.
Sure.
And the Grogu one was Grogu's little like basket that he rides around in.
Yay. Oh, I love brands and their merchandise. It's so sick.
It was like, clearly this wasn't like an official like Star Wars branded like merch tablet. It was just like the movie theater's iPad that they had set up to buy merch on.
Yeah.
So it was all ill formatted. So it said Mandaloria N and Grogu. And I was like, dude, why don't they have any N merch? This is a fucking
Where's N at?
Yeah.
I wish they had Backrooms popcorn buckets. It's just an endless, it just keeps going. That's what they should just have, a bottomless popcorn bucket for them. I gotta go see that.
Yeah, what's a liminal popcorn bucket?
Yeah.
Just like a fucking
MC Escher popcorn bucket.
Yeah, like a little cubicle with a desk in it full of popcorn.
Yes. There we go. See, that sounds fun. Sounds like a Severance popcorn bucket. Okay, Reanimal. It's a video game that sounds like it's a good time. It's better in co-op. I played a demo of it that didn't have any I didn't play it with anybody else. I played it on my own. So it had the AI controlling the second character.
Yeah. And
that worked surprisingly well. I was shocked that it actually like was functional, because some of the stuff is like early on in the game there's a minecart you have to operate by pumping up and down, and each of the other characters has to do the opposite action. And I was like, I hope the AI can figure this out if I'm just like wiggling the controller up and down. And it did wait for me to finish doing the action. So it seemed like a pretty smart companion character. So even if you don't have a buddy to play it with, you could still see what they're going for with Reanimal, but it sounds like it's probably better with co-op, Jeremy.
Yeah. I can't imagine. I'm sure this game is fine alone. I think it really shines in co-op and was designed for it. Because I feel like a lot of the things like the minecart and stuff, it's not like a sort of like bizarro comparison would be It Takes Two, where everything is designed around co-op, but it feels very like specific game mechanic-y. You feel like I'm either doing this right or wrong. What I like about Reanimal is that it's kind of murky. You'll both have to, because you're like little kids, you have to grab like a big turn wheel and both turn it together, but it doesn't have like an arrow that's like pointed this way. So you're kind of both fumbling with the sticks and being like, does it want us to like spin it as fast as possible? Does it want me to point it in the direction the wheel needs to go right now? And I feel like that murkiness leads to interesting moments where it's like, you're trying to like sync up mentally with the other person. So there was one moment where Chelsea and I had to drive a car, but the little kids, like one of them was grabbing the steering wheel and one was on the floor. So we were like, I think like I'm steering and you're working the pedals. And so we both hit R2 to accelerate. And then I was like, is it me or is it you? And she's like, I don't know, let me let go. And we both let go at the same time. And I was like, it's you. And she's like, no, it's me. And so we did that 3 times and we both let go at the exact same time. So we couldn't figure out who was fucking driving.
Oh my God.
And I feel like that sort of fun confusion and murk around co-op stuff when you're not being punished for it, when it's just like fun and exploration based. Yeah, I don't know. There's something fun and like ambiguous about it. So it's not like a super like tightly designed interactive little mini game things like It Takes Two. It's more just like weird, murky sort of horror experience that you're working through together. It's really, really good. We probably played like 85% of it in one night.
How long did that take to get through that much of the
we
game?
played like 3.5 hours.
Okay,
and
that was pretty short.
I checked like a walkthrough that was a 4-hour YouTube video, and we were like probably 80% through it.
That's great. That sounds perfect. Yeah, because
There was a lot of secret stuff in this. People said that you can
Sure.
spend like 8 hours in this game if you're a completionist.
That's like
Yeah,
Little
so
Nightmares, yeah.
I actually played it twice by myself and with my girlfriend, and then I like went back to like collect more of the stuff. And it was really good both versions. Like the AI is really good at knowing what you want to do, and it's like I don't think it really like misses jumps or anything like that. So in a way, if one player is more experienced or less experienced, whatever, with platformers, then they might actually drag you down a little bit if you're playing with someone. But no shade to anyone.
It sounds like you're talking shit.
but then also it's more fun to have like those moments of like figuring out who's doing what and like fumbling around, like Jeremy said. But yeah, I particularly liked the secret hidden stuff. There's some cool stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's just got like great set pieces and it has a very specific style to it. And I think that that's a rare thing. I often feel like when I play stuff, it feels it's, the style, the aesthetic, the game design is referential to something else. The Little Nightmares games and Reanimal feel very sort of in their own lane. The only reason I reference Tim Burton is because I can't think of anything closer. But even that's not really like a real match for what this game feels like.
All right. Well, hey, check it out for yourself on Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, I'm assuming. Or probably on PS5. Reanimal. There's also a demo on Steam if you want to check it out for yourself, see how the beginning of the game goes. The opening I thought was pretty cool, too. You're on that little boat, and it's like dark. It lasts a little too long. A little pricey, though. It's like $40.
It's $40, but there is a friend pass, so only one person needs to buy it. So I feel like that's a pretty good way to play it. Is just send your friend $20 on Venmo.
See, that's ideal, yeah. And it sounds like it's a lot easier to just have a weekend with it as opposed to It Takes Two or Split Fiction, where you got to spend like 3 weeks playing a 12-hour long game. Can you get 2 people together in a room for that long if they're over the age of like 26? Good luck, Reanimal. Have a good scary weekend with the homies or your partner or whoever you want. Grandma, scare her half to death. Why not? Have fun in Reanimal.
I love a grandma. Well, I guess I don't know everyone's grandma.
Grandma, what are you talking about? Grandmas love video
There's some
games.
young grandmas.
Yeah, we were at the hospital the other day with the baby, and he's fine. And there was an older lady who was like, "I'm going to be a grandma," and I was like, "You're like 49." She's like, "I'm 55, and also that's grandma age." And I was like, "No,
that's crazy.
I'm 25 years away from that." So yeah,
young grandma.
You're going to be a grandma in 25 years.
I am going to be a grandma. I can't
Dude,
wait.
I can't wait till you're a grandma.
I'm
You're gonna be such
already
a good
baking
grandma.
cookies. I'm halfway there. You know,
That's
I make
true.
a mean chocolate chip.
And you're kindly. That's like half the battle.
That's so nice of you to say.
See, that's what a grandma would say.
I would. Would you like a cookie?
Oh, here you go, Sonny.
There you go. Okay. All right. Well, so we front loaded this episode with a lot of video game crap. I know nobody really cares about that who's listening to this. Everyone's
Stop
here.
hating on video games. I love them.
No. People are here for one thing and one thing only, Jeremy. It's pinball
Emails?
content.
Oh. Wait, what did you say? I said
Pinball
emails.
content,
Oh,
baby.
pinball content.
Genuinely, I love getting the pinball updates from Frank. I think I said before we started recording that there's been this weird renaissance online of like pinball. That's what they call it where I'm from. Up in Canada, we call it pinball. Pinball content on the internet. I've seen so many articles. I've watched videos. in the last like 2 or 3 weeks. What did you do? Did you tune into a radio frequency? Are you a trendsetter? Why are you so into what tell us about Pinball FX, and then also get us into this. Why is there a community around pinball games?
Like the thing that got me into it was like back in March, Pokemon Pinball came out, and so this was the first pinball machine based like on an anime, and it was like, oh shit. And also the fact that Nintendo allowed like an American company to make a fucking game with their property is like huge. And then so since then, I've just been working on a long term like the DDR thing. Before I can make a documentary about DDR, I have to like fucking
you have to become DDR. Yeah.
So I've been like traveling all across SoCal, just like documenting the pinball scene and like getting good at the game and etc. With like Pinball FX. So Pinball FX is a digital like platform for pinball. It's available on like all consoles. They even like started like back on Xbox 360 like in 2007 as a, like through Xbox Arcade. But now the current launcher is called Pinball FX. But the reason I landed on this is like I love playing pinball, but like the only kind of days I'm free are like Thursdays and Saturdays where I can go out at night. But even in SoCal, a lot of pinball places close early. Like it kind of sucks. I would like round one rocks because it's open until 2 a.m. But round one does not have pinball machines. The Puente Hills one location does have 4 pinball machines. But the problem with pinball games is they're so hard to maintain. It's the hardest amusement attraction to like maintain because there's 6 billion like little things with each machine. It's so specific. So round one, like they don't bother because they train their kids to fucking take care of their DDR machines and ticket games. Pinball, you need to hire someone over like 6 years old. The headlamp. It's like such an archaic thing. So like I like playing pinball places, but my like time that I can go out and play pinball is limited. There's like not like my radius. I'm like deep in like Southeast Orange County. I have to drive like 30 minutes out to get to like the first pinball place. Again, it's not like that's like pretty good, but you know, who knows if you live in like, I don't know, just
anywhere else in America. Yeah.
So I was like, shit, like I'm always itching to play more pinball and it's fun to study. And my friend Jared like kept telling me like, you know, there's Pinball FX. You can play this, you can play that, you can play this. So finally I gave it a shot and and I've been hooked on it because with Pinball FX every week they'll put new pinball games on sale. So over like the last 2 weeks, I'm also at the point where I'm just buying games, not even waiting for them on sale. I'm so addicted. I didn't realize this until like my research, but like Elvira is basically the queen of pinball. There's 3 different Elvira machines. So Stern has so Elvira's retired. I've gotten so deep into pinball that I started playing the Elvira machine. I was like, damn, this is good. I've never seen the Elvira movie. I should watch the Elvira movie. I watched the Elvira movie. Damn, I love Elvira. I should listen to her audiobook. I've been listening to her audiobook. Damn, I like Elvira. I should play her older Elvira machines.
I love that getting into pinball actually means getting out of pinball.
No, absolutely. Like you have to. That's why like this project is gonna take months because there's so much shit to cover. It's like overwhelming, but it's keeping me alive. It's keeping me going. So Pinball FX has Elvira's Party Monsters and Scared Stiff. So the thing with a lot of these older machines is like they're super hard to maintain. They're super hard to find in the wild. If you find it out in the wild, good luck if it's working. There's a place I talk about, I Need a Miracle Pinball in Long Beach. Half of their old machines are there, but they're not turned on. You can like look at them, but they're so hard to work. Or if the machine is on, the ball's gonna get stuck, something's off. The cool thing with virtual pinball is like they work. So Stern is like has the monopoly on pinball games. They're like the top manufacturers. They're the ones doing Pokemon. They just announced Transformers. They're the one that have the 2021 Elvira machine, etc. They don't mess with like emulating their products. If you want to play a Stern machine, go to any barcade. They will have Stern machines. So the other company, so Pinball FX, what they do is they license like old Bally, Williams, all the companies that are out of pinball. They get the licenses and then they like recreate the cabinets virtually. But the physics is amazing. The like music, like everything, the dot matrix display, they recreate it authentically. Wow. So it's become a way for me to like when I'm not at the arcade physically playing pinball. Pinball FX is now like my daily like dojo where I will go and I will play pinball. But the machine works 100%. It's easier than in real life because it's emulated and it feels like catching your balls with flippers and stuff is like way more generous than in real life because like there's so much bullshit could happen with real physics. But I'm training every day with pinball. When I went out Saturday to play pinball, I set 4 new high scores on machines. It was like, oh shit, like I'm getting really good at pinball. The biggest thing is just being able to read the ball when it's coming right down the middle, just like it can be a millimeter of like, okay, do I hit the right flipper or the left flipper just to nudge it? Like, but just constantly playing pinball at home, then when I go out and play it. But yeah, so Pinball FX, I was so skeptical and dismissive of like, fuck that. If I'm going to play pinball, I got to play the real thing. But as my friend Jared says, like, it scratches the itch when you just want to play pinball. So like through the games I've been playing a lot, I've been playing Addams Family Pinball a lot, all the Elvira machines, Pinbot. There's also like games that are made just for.
I was going to ask that if pinball was just an emulation thing or if they're also like custom games.
There's original ones. So the thing I think is really funny and silly and what kind of got me like to get all this is there's Pinball FX, which is like ESRB rates to like E to teen. There's a separate launcher that is rated M called Pinball Midnight FX.
Hey,
and this is
right.
where it's all the horror stuff. So there's a, Chucky Child's Play pinball machine. There's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre pinball machine. And then there's a Bethesda pack. So there is a Fallout pinball machine.
Oh.
Separately, there's a Borderlands pinball machine I played too. That's also on this. But Skyrim pinball and Doom pinball. And all three of those are like pretty solid. So it's like, I've just been, so again, it's like getting good at DDR. Just play any song chart, play anything, play any genre. The more you play, the better you'll get. So I've just been playing any pinball games that are on sale, buying them. There's also demos. Sometimes they'll put stuff for free on weekends. The first time you launch Pinball FX, they give you a like play pass, whatever. It means you can play any game for free for 24 hours. So that night I got Pinball FX. I played like 30 different machines. A lot of these were machines I played in real life, but they were fucking broken or whatever. Yeah. Here I could just keep playing on free play and get better and better and better at them. So yeah, so it's just been really like fascinating. Like really like there's so many levels to like pinball. Now it's like I'm getting better at it, and it's like it's just it's
what's something you've noticed about playing pinball more that like you didn't realize was a skill that you could have with it? Because that middle line thing, thinking about the millimeters, growing up, I always thought, well, if it's going down the middle, there goes your quarter.
Yeah,
is there anything else like that you've
like
noticed?
Nudging, like you like pro players will like nudge when it's going down the middle, but I still don't. I feel like if
they'll
I'm
push
nudging
the side of the machine. You mean?
Like nudging is a part of play, and like in real life you have to nudge because balls will get stuck inside, and you have to like bump it. But like you can wiggle it if like on the side lanes when a ball's about to drain. There's like a chance it'll go in the in lane and then it'll go to your flipper, or it'll go in the outer lane and your ball will drain. When it's right in that middle line, if you nudge the machine like it's on the left side, if you nudge it like up left, you'll push the machine and the ball will go bottom right. You can save it, but sometimes you can fuck up. Like I'm afraid if I nudge it, I'm gonna fuck it up. But like learning how to ball nudge is helpful. A big thing is like slowing the game down, like not mashing flippers, but like, okay, let the ball come to you, hold it, cradle. Okay, what's the objective right now?
You've got the terminology down. You're cradling. I love it.
So it's like knowing what the objective. At any point during a pinball machine, there's an objective. The easiest way I found to get high score is focus on getting multi-ball first, and then once it's multi-ball, fucking go nuts and get a million things. But like the Elvira, so an Elvira scared stiff, there's like a crate in the middle. And whenever you activate this, anytime you shoot the balls into the crate, you get like a jackpot. Right. So if that crate is open during a multi-ball, you can get your score inflates radically. I got like 168 million points on Stern's Dungeons and Dragons pinball machine because I hit the dragon multi-ball. It was the most balls I had ever seen on a single playfield. It was like 6 balls at once dropped, and I just started spamming, and then I had the high score. Like I couldn't believe it. Like
wow.
So yeah, it's
Congrats.
It's like focusing on the objective. For me, it's just getting multi-ball, but it's like, it's an addiction. Now it's like, great, now I know that. Now let me go back. And again, with the Stern app, you can track it. The thing I like with Pinball FX is it allows you to track your high scores on these games that traditionally don't have like the app or the tracking. Like you can go play Addams Family in many pinball places, but there's, it's a 1991
The guy
machine.
in Des Moines, Iowa, you don't know what his score is. You got to check. Yes.
Yeah. So here you can play, and it's like, it's like Xbox Live Arcade. Here's the leaderboard. So it's like I feel like
I wonder what the old school version of that was. You think someone would ring up the other arcade and be like, hey, what's the top score on this? And then they're like, fuck that guy. Hang up the phone.
That's what the King of Kong stuff was. I forget, Galaxy, whatever the hell. Like that's what it was. It was like almost like Guinness, like an official thing. But yeah, it's like, I mean, back in the day, there'd be like people would submit scores to magazines and stuff. And like any local place, you can save the score on the machine. These days, there'll be like TVs connected to the Stern app, but each arcade will have their leaderboards. But like, it's the same thing with Neon White or whatever. It's like, it's just so satisfying to get immediate feedback on leaderboards or whatever. But like, I don't have any friends that have the Pinball FX app on PlayStation, but like, it's still cool to see where I rank with other like pinball nerds. It's good to know. So like, I don't know, like right now, I think my high score in Adam's Family is like something like 100 million.
Wow.
Can I get that same score in real life? Probably not. Maybe not. But maybe if I get lucky.
Enough, yeah.
So it's just like, it's been like, one thing happened on a real life cabinet that wouldn't be able to happen on a digital cabinet. I was playing the Harry Potter machine, and this happened like a few times where the ball would drain, but it didn't register. Like the ball would go down the middle. I was like, oh shit. And then I'm looking at the board. It's still like ball one's in play. Everything is still going. It's like, oh, the game doesn't know I just lost. So I start nudging the machine, start bumping it. And this happens with all machines. After a while, when it can't read your ball, it just starts like resetting. It starts clicking everything, shaking itself, trying to find the ball. And then after a while, it gave up and it just gave me a new ball, but still stayed on the same round.
Whoa.
So I got a new high score on this Harry Potter machine because I got to play like 6 rounds on 3 legal balls or whatever, because the game couldn't detect when I would lose. And I was like, oh, here's one individual machine that's like broken, but because of that, you can get a higher score. Like, so that's what's also very fun is every single individual pinball machine is completely unique, whether it's the play field, the fucking gravity, like
whether or not
like,
the table's level.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a genuine thing. Like I was remember in Vegas like a month ago, and I was on Pinball Map, and there was people complaining that like this bar in MGM Grand, the second floor was like slanted. So they were like, every machine tilts to the left. You can't fucking play here. At the Puente Hills round 1, I love this WrestleMania machine, but the game is 12 years old, and I don't think they've like changed the parts ever. So the flippers are so weak that you can't hit the ball up the ramps.
I love this. And
I was like getting pissed off at the machine because it's like, I know I can fucking hit this, but the game is so old. But again, no one at round 1 cares to fix it. And like another example at Arcade Monsters in Murrieta, California, I like the Stranger, even though I hate Stranger Things as a property, as an IP.
Who doesn't?
The pinball game is fantastic. But every single time I shot it on like one of the left loops, it got stuck in the same spot every single time. And I always had to nudge it, but I was enjoying playing the game. The game was set to free play. So I kept playing knowing the ball's always going to get stuck here, and you just nudge the machine. But imagine everyone playing that machine all day, every day, just constantly shaking. Like,
just
so
ruining
games get
the parts,
worn down.
yeah.
But with the digital emulation, they don't get worn down. So it's like playing like the only time you're playing a brand new machine for the first time every time. Like it's like, so it's good. It's perfect for practice, but it's not reality. So it's like the Matrix simulation or whatever. So now I have respect for the digital cabinets, whereas before I was so dismissive. But also it's allowed me to play games that are super rare, that are super hard to find.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and they probably restore the music and sound effects and everything.
Yes,
like
it's so good.
Yeah, you're
like
never gonna hear those games the same way that you're hearing them in that digital space.
And also a lot of like real life barcades will just have like music and shit blasting nonstop.
There should be a setting on Pinball FX where you could be like, put me in a shitty barcade where I spent $20 on a logger that I don't even like.
And there's someone singing karaoke.
Yes, like the worst version of it too.
That I was playing an Alien machine, which is a super rare game, Aliens, by the Pinball Brothers. That's the company. It was a super rare game. I was playing it. I was in a flow state with it. This is at a free play arcade. Some guy next to me just goes up, starts the Pulp Fiction machine next to me. It starts blasting Miserloo. And after like a minute, I think the game got stuck. The guy bumps nudge it, and he's like, "This game fucking sucks," and he walks away. The machine is still on blasting Pulp Fiction sound effects, and now I'm just like in a fucked up headspace. Where I was like, "Fuck," and like. But the guy, I don't know. So, but again, those are those IRL like experiences that are just like, no, there's something so funny about playing pinball. But again, finally investigating the digital stuff, I'm like, this is good. But yeah, again, it's like I play here, I practice, and then I can't wait to go out and try again. So. Yeah,
I think everything you've described there is probably a big part of why I'm seeing so much coverage on pinball games. Is like there is nothing like it. Like you even in your digital emulation, you're able to preserve a lot of the like elements of it that are worth preserving, whether it's branding or the visuals or sound effects or the layouts. All that stuff's really cool, but you cannot properly preserve the feeling of a guy spilling his drink onto your game while you're playing, or someone taking your machine when you walk away for 5 seconds. Like that part of it is impossible to emulate. And I think there's a joy to it. It is a fun part of playing a pinball or any arcade game. Like now you go to Dave and Buster's or whatever, and it's like, I feel like I'm just gambling, but I don't win anything in the end. Oh, maybe I get like candy or, enough tickets for like a stupid toy that I don't want, just so I get something out of the exchange of money. So yeah, I think we're due for like a renaissance. I would love to see, just the way you've been talking about pinball stuff, has made me think it would be cool to see like a competitive pinball thing. Like I almost want to see like a legal machine with all the parts properly lubricated and like replaced and shit. Because you were talking about it like there's physics you need to emulate or deal with or like be concerned about the way. It sounded like you were talking about like the half A press in Super Mario 64 of like you're getting to a level with the games where you're worried about whether or not like it's perfectly level or whatever. Stuff like that is awesome. I think that's so funny. Like the physics of making a game perfect, not just accurate, but like feel right. Not like the buttons are off. No, like there's too many divots where the ball lands after it springs out of the thing. Yeah, love it. Love it. I can't wait to see this video, by the way. I assume for Noclip 2 on pinball games, you've really tapped into a lot of cool fucking shit, man. It's your skill. You find the great places to go.
Does anyone know? I was going to recommend a game to Frank, but I'm trying to find the name of it.
3D Space Pinball, Windows XP.
Windows XP, you heard of it? No, someone made a pinball roguelike where the dungeon is like not endless, but a giant pinball
I know
machine.
what you're talking about.
But when I looked up pinball roguelike, there's a different one that's not the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
Runix,
I'll
right?
post it in Snapchat and send it to you, Frank, but I feel like you might like it.
Yeah. It did pretty well, I feel like. I saw a lot of people talking about it when it came out. I cannot remember what it is for the life of me either. But yeah, when you find it, let us know so we can have it on the pod.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, please. But in the meantime, while Jeremy's hunting, we have some emails to answer. Frank, take it away.
Yeah, we got a ton of emails. If people do want to write to us, please send an email to podcast@noclip.video or in our Patreon Discord server in the podcast chat channel. Once again, that's podcast@noclip.video. Our first comes from Jack asking, is there a gaming related memory that you wish you could change, whether embarrassing, unusual, or just so you could relive it with what you know now?
Huh.
I have one.
Go, take it away.
Going back to my childhood gaming consoles. So when I figured out that we could play GameCube games, I was like, oh, let me look into that. And like, oh, there's a Mario game and a Zelda game that I never played before, Wind Waker and Super Mario Sunshine. So I bought those both and then played them and then sold them. And I was like, I wonder how much I sold those for. So I went back on my eBay I sold them for $50 total.
Oh.
And I think one of the Wind Waker goes for like at least 60 on its own.
Jeez.
Not that I would have sold them now, but like I'm not going to buy that at $60. So I would have not sold those games I hope I bought something good with that $50.
I guarantee you did not. As a perpetual video game seller as a child, I think I got like $8 for Wii Music at some point for some stupid reason.
Yeah.
And
well, at least I didn't take them to GameStop. I sold them on eBay.
There you go.
So
yeah, that's very funny. I feel like everyone has a memory like that where they like bought a game or sold a game that they regret selling. I think I played my biggest regret is playing Wii Fit in front of any people ever at any point in my life. That was a mistake. Oh, the bar says obese. Cool. Just to be clear, I'm 12 years old. I don't think I need that, but
you should
thanks,
not be
Nintendo.
allowed to call it obese, 12-year-old obese in a video game.
They were simply medically referring to me as obese. All right. I got into the McCain cakes and I ate all of them on my own. My mom didn't stop me.
That's so much better if it's like, don't worry, you're just medically obese.
Yeah. You're
So,
only
like, I'm not making
you're
fun
only
of you.
technically obese.
You're just clinically fat. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
They get like your BMI. Yeah, this little fucking plastic board that I'm using to play a hula hoop game is checking my BMI. Nice try, Nintendo.
Yeah, I don't need the Donkey Kong Konga controller calling me obese, man. Fucking
Dude,
relax.
that would be messed up if every Nintendo thing just told you were fat. Like that's
you
all
have
it
to
ever
weigh
does.
yourself to play fucking drum games and shit.
I remember at one point they were going to sell like a heart rate monitor, like a thing you put when you go to the doctor or the hospital and like they snap your finger into the heart rate. Nintendo was going to sell an attachment like that for some games. And you know what? Actually, I'm realizing they did eventually do that. The Switch, the IR camera on the bottom of the Switch, if you buy Ring Fit Adventure, another fitness Nintendo, I need to stop doing this to myself. You can like check your heart rate by putting your thumb on the IR scanner and it tells you. I'm sure it's the most inaccurate thing ever, but they did eventually do that. Nintendo's a weird company, man.
Why do they want my biometric data so bad?
I know, right? But they only just added cameras to the newest Switch and you still have to buy it separately. Fools. Frank, you have any embarrassing story? Oh, sorry, Jeremy, if you have one, go ahead.
Frank, you can go first if you got one.
Yeah, I mean, it's all related to just like not taking care of your physical game collection as a kid. Like, so it's like selling stuff. Like, even as a kid, it was like I had all these PlayStation games, but then like, oh wait, I can just like get rid of the cases and just have a CD holder. So it's like,
You fool.
like I have like the disc of Silent Hill, but not the black case. But together, it's like,
Yeah.
But again, it's like that's like whatever, hindsight. Like you can't know that. I also had like a brother who sold all my like old consoles for cigarette money and drug money and stuff. So it's like, but that's not my fault.
Yeah, it's not
but
embarrassing.
It's like,
This
fuck,
is sad.
But it's like, yeah, it's like my N64 vanished one day, and then it was like, oh, okay, well, same game, whatever. So it's like, yeah, I wish I would have protected my physical game collection better as a kid. So that's why now I'm so like I like don't like selling games. I'll sell books to book offs because it's like I'm not gonna reread a book, but like so there's something nice about having the video game thing. I'm like, all right, that's there. I'm never getting rid of it.
Yeah.
I guess I feel the same. I wish I took better care of stuff. Again, it's like hindsight's 2020, but like my brother's shitty friend also stole some of our N64 games, and I'll never forgive him. I'll find you someday. I was gonna say his name, but I shouldn't do that on the internet.
What's his address? Where's he living?
Yeah, let me
Social?
dox a social security number real quick. This is not a thing I wish I could change. It's just like a funny, kind of embarrassing childhood memory. Both my parents are educators, so in the summer, when we were kids, my dad would would go somewhere to work, but my mom would work from home tutoring kids because it was the summer, so there was no school. So she would be tutoring downstairs, and me and my brother would just like sit upstairs and play Super Nintendo or whatever if we weren't like at summer camp. And we would play Kirby's Dream Course. And we would just like fucking fight so bad because in Kirby's Dream Course, you can hit another person's ball and like knock them off or like ruin their game and like fuck with each other endlessly. It's just a game about making it horrible for each other. And we got in such a bad fight one time that it like came to blows. So we were like beating the shit out of each other over Kirby's Dream Course. And my mom had to come up and start yelling at us because she's like, I'm working down. There's a person downstairs who's not part of our family. And we could hear you two beating the shit out of each other up here. And I just remember the look of disappointment on her face.
Oh my God.
I wish I didn't put my mom in that position over Kirby's Dream Course. But it is very, very funny in retrospect.
Poor mother.
The reason it's funny is I imagine her from her perspective coming upstairs and her two sons are just like beating the piss out of each other. And there's just a TV on playing the most like Kirby music in the background, and like Kirby's like cute little pink faces on the TV.
Why are you guys fighting over the bubblegum game I bought you the other day?
Exactly. Yeah, it's like you guys are fucking beating the shit out of each other over the most like twee childlike thing possible. That's just the contrast of it.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah.
Classic. All right. Next email, Frank.
Cameron wrote in a question asking about the future. Hello, Noclip crew. As someone who has always struggled with getting bored with jobs and hopping around every 2 to 3 years, I've always appreciated how the crew has been together since essentially the beginning. Oh. With that said, I started wondering if any members of the team were having ambitions to start their own venture or maybe thinking about doing something else where their time would be more limited with Noclip, outside of having children.
Man.
Or maybe this is the dream scenario of the freelance gig where doing Noclip with their other work is what they see doing until the heat death of the universe. Of course, selfishly, I hope that is the case.
I mean, yeah, I feel like Jeremy can speak to this for himself, but I mean, game dev on the side.
For sure. I was doing a lot more Noclip work the last few years, and then there has been less as of the last year, which is part of the reason I moved back to New England. Just
easier to do game dev on the East Coast. I get it.
Yeah, the vibe is just better here. No,
the weed's better. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, better than California. I don't know about that.
Come on.
But it was sort of a choice of like continue to deal with Northern California, like North Bay cost of living, and chase down a bunch of client work, which my like client work had also kind of dried up because I was doing Noclip so full time that I wasn't like, people would ask me to do gigs and I would be like, I'm in the middle of a big edit or whatever. So it was like, do I want to start building up like a Rolodex of clients? And there wasn't a ton of work flowing in. And also like I pictured myself 10 years in the future, and I was like, if I love doing game dev more than anything. It's like, that's what I like to do. It's what I've wanted to do since I was a kid. I just kind of like didn't take it seriously or try to learn it until the last 4 years or so. And I was like, I felt I was at a juncture where I could either try to live more cheaply and take this seriously for a while, and like build my skills into a thing where it could be something that I do to partially sustain myself, or I could chase down a bunch of like marketing, editing gigs and try to continue paying rent. And I just picture myself being like 40 something and being like, I gave up on my dream before I even like gave it a shot. But that being said, it's not like if I like made a game and it was like a hit or whatever and made me a bunch of money, it's not like I would still do like the podcast and still
I don't know,
make
man.
videos here.
A couple times you've said if you made $100,000, we'd never see you again.
100,000.
And in games, that's a pretty low bar. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, dude, I could fucking. Do you know how much interest I could make on that? Yeah, no, I like doing this. So yeah, I mean, I like the shit we do. So even if my dreams came true and the game I'm working on, one of the 2 games I'm working on was like a hit, made me a shit ton of money, I'd probably still just like.
If you hit like Bolotro numbers, you'd still be hopping on this podcast 2 hours a week. No, you don't have to lie. It's okay.
Maybe not every week. Like, because like I'd be in fucking Tahiti sometimes.
Yeah, bro.
Shit.
I'm in fucking Turks and Caicos. You are not catching my ass on this podcast.
Yeah.
No
No, but
disrespect.
like my dream is to make game dev work. But that being said, I have had game projects that I've worked on in the last, especially year or so, taking this more seriously and devoting more time to it. Like game dev is sort of my full-time job right now that I spend the most time on. There have been projects I worked on where I've made a prototype and been like, wow, I think this is a game that would sell well. I think this is like I could see this prototype turning into a full-fledged game. Made like more of a vertical slice, thought it was fun, tested it with people, and then was like, is this the type of game I want to spend 2-3 years of a year minimum making?
Right.
And I think it's an important thing for me to not slip into being like, oh, this could make me money, because ultimately game dev is something I really enjoy, and I would rather have to work and enjoy game dev than have game dev sustain me and become something that feels too much like work. With any creative work, there's a point where it becomes work. There's always like bullshit you have to do. Even if you love making music more than anything, it's like at some point you're mixing and mastering a track and you're like, this is tedious and sucks, but it's part of the process of making a good finished product. So I'm not saying I just want game dev to be like fun and, weightless for me and just like enjoyment. But I never want it to become a thing where I'm like, I have to make this game because this is what will sell or what will turn this into a career for me. So my priority is like, I mean, that's why I haven't rushed to have like a commercial release on Steam or whatever. I've like made games and released them to friends and let people play them and stuff. And, I just like, I will release a game on Steam to sell to people when I feel like I've made something that is like worth charging money to people for or something. So yeah, I just want to do it on my own terms. But yeah, again, if I made a fucking $10 million tomorrow, I would still like want to hang out with you guys and talk on the podcast and shit.
That is so nice of you to say.
That's true. I don't know.
Right.
Fucking, what am I just gonna hole up, and become a hermit because I made $10 million?
I you know what? Yeah, I wouldn't blame you. Like that sounds
maybe like a
the
little
dream.
more of a hermit.
Yeah, maybe like you see me once a year. That's
Open
about
a
it.
vineyard,
Dude,
start
imagine.
drinking heavily.
Game dev vineyard would be awesome. You can name all of your wine after like a terrible video game nobody likes.
This is the Mario vintage.
Whoa. Tastes like boot. Yeah, so I mean that's Jeremy's big thing. No caps, and actually I feel like everybody kind of has a thing that they do other than Noclip, either out of necessity or just out of like keeping your brain healthy. No caps, you have your channel that you run on your own that's doing really well and continuing to grow, which is awesome. And then Frank, you Twitch stream, but you guys have anything else that you want to do outside of that stuff? Any like ambitions past the YouTube channel or Twitch streaming that you'd like to do? Or the answer no is perfectly acceptable also.
And like on it, like if there's any way for me to live in Japan, I'll work for any well, I mean, like, oh yeah, I want to live in Japan and work in Japan. That's like my end goal in life. So I don't know. That's why like I generally want to go to Tokyo Game Show and be like, hi, my name is Frank Howley.
Yes,
nice
dude.
to meet you.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's any way to do that. We'll see. But yeah, I'm essentially already a full-time Twitch streamer. Like I was doing that before I got the Noclip gig, and like, it is a monetized hobby, but like it's the weird thing where it's like it's successful enough where it's like it's hard to stop doing, but I also love it. It's also how I watch all my wrestling in it and hang out with friends and stuff. But yeah, so it's like this and Noclip is awesome as long as I can sustain it. But if there's ever like a fucking route to be in Japan, it's like, oh shit, like that's like a dream. But.
Yeah, I feel that. No caps.
Yeah,
there
for me,
anything
I mean, I just really like editing videos, and like the more creative I can get, the better. So I think that like, although I've always had dreams of like making it big with my personal channel, if that were to be the only thing that I did, which I'm nowhere near that point, but it would put too much pressure on me and just kind of ruin like the whole like experience of just doing whatever I want kind of. So
Yeah.
I like doing videos for Noclip too and being on the podcast and stuff, because it's like more of a structured kind of thing, and I know like the scope for my video idea pitches and how long they can be and how long they're going to take. So I like having that balance, but if anything, I would like to get rid of my other client work that's not related to video games, but we'll see.
Yeah, you got to go where the money is, especially if you're kind of doing this online freelance thing. I mean, that's the other thing that I do, and I'm not doing Noclip, is I just work for not whoever, but like I have pretty consistent clients, and then I look for other things to do, and that's sort of as far as it goes. But honestly, like, I mean, outside of the video space, I would love to get into like marketing in any aspect. I'm 30 now. I'm allowed to, cash in and become a sellout. It's fine. I'm allowed to do that.
I did a marketing edit earlier this year.
Yeah,
and it was fine. It is a very different world though, because it's funny going from like everyone in Noclip is like a video editor and knows what it's like. So when we talk about projects together, it's all from the perspective of I know what it's like to make a thing.
Yeah.
It's very funny to work with people who are not video editors and be like, yeah, this is like kind of what we want. And I'm like, you sure you don't want like any music or like B-roll in it? And they're like, nah, just like this. And then you turn into them, they're like, I feel like it needs like music and like something over it. You're like, yeah, no worries, that's fine.
Yeah, it's the hardest part of doing any corporate work. Like the handful of gigs that I've done have always been like, yeah, we just want you to make it good. And then you got to be like, oh, sorry, I meant here's a list of 80 things that I didn't tell you I wanted, but I totally did. Which is the frustrating part of it. But that's any client work. It doesn't matter who I'm working for. Even like, I'm sure at nocaps you could speak. I just, all of us can probably speak to this. It's like, somebody gives you a brief and actually what they meant was a completely different thing and you didn't know and whatever. It's the hard part of the job, but it's also whatever. That for me, I don't mind doing that. It pays well. I like the work. I weirdly like making advertisements. I don't know what's wrong with my brain. But you know what I want to do outside of that? Noclip 2. Like, not to be, a big stickler about it or whatever, but there's like a lot of parts of my brain over the last year or so where like, I've been doing YouTube for like a decade, whether that's on my own channel, helping out other people, working with, YouTubers who are on the come up and like getting them to a certain point where they feel more confident doing their own work. I love doing all that stuff and like thinking about the analytics and figuring out ways to make it work. Noclip 2 is like a thing I've wanted to do, not like in specific having it be called Noclip 2. I'd probably call it something else. But like I wanted to do this style of thing of like multiple people coming together, having salaries to just make videos that they're excited about, talk about stories, especially in the game space, and like represent that and be quick and be like on the ball talking about stuff that's important. Like this, to me, Noclip 2 like is the thing that I'd want to do on YouTube. I don't know if there's necessarily a framework to make it profitable. I mean, we're still trying to pull funds together, patreon.com/Noclip2. But ultimately, like this is, to me, like this is an exciting prospect of making this thing, of coming together with a bunch of people and like finding passionate ways to talk about games or the surrounding communities, stuff like that. Cause I grew up watching like game trailers and, Screw Attack and like those, obviously some of those people can fuck off now, but, they made good videos when I was younger and I liked watching their stuff and keeping up with that. And I think there's an audience for that stuff, myself included. So I would love for Noclip 2 to continue growing and becoming something that we can have more opportunities to do cool things with. Cause I think whenever we make stuff that like, that is like the indie recs are fun to do, but like when we do other like bigger videos, there's a lot of love for that. Like people are always excited for Frank's videos and nocaps and like Jeremy, whenever you do your interviews with developers, people love that stuff. And like, I like highlighting games every once in a while. Whenever we get the chance to do that stuff, it's like, there's a little bit of momentum there. And I would hope that throughout the year, as we do a big funding push and keep doing call outs for stuff, we get more opportunities to do that work. Cause, people love it and we love doing it. So, hey, and it's nice to, do that together on the same channel. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we've taken like a couple swings at doing different things with this channel.
Yeah.
I feel like the stuff that we've got coming is sort of the culmination of like figuring out what it is and like what it needs to be in terms of tone and the type of stuff we're making, but also figuring out how to like, I don't know, make it feel like special for people who actually want to support it without just being like, this is a channel you could only see if you pay us.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I've got like 3 videos that I'm starting to work on that I'm very excited about that I feel like are completely different than anything we've done on Noclip 2 before. So yeah, I hope people are cool with us kind of like figure. It's been like because it's like there's 2 channels. It's also been like a little bit of, experimentation. Like we got to figure out what the thing is and stuff. I feel like we've kind of reinvented the thing a few times. So yeah. I hope people understand that that's sort of out of like necessity and having an organic relationship to it rather than just like, we got to do something. It's not working. We got to do something else.
Yeah. Turn the mask over. It's something else now. Now it's a sad face. It's like I think Computer Worlds has sort of given us like a framework to be like, this is tonally where we're trying to go. We're trying to do weird stuff. We're trying to be stranger. And I think going from there and sort of taking that ball and rolling with it, because it's, you know, the most successful thing that's been on the channel in a while. It was a really awesome initiative to do. We all got to do those videos about the games and the developers and talk to them and stuff. Like that was all a really great thing to include. And I think as we moving forward, continue to do that stuff, I think that's going to be great for the channel. But yeah, I mean, that's ultimately, I keep having that thought of like, oh man, I'd love to do this. And I keep like reinventing Noclip 2 from first principles. I keep like going back. Like, what if we just did this again? But oh wait, no, that's a thing I'm part of already. It'd be really weird if I did that. And it was just like the same thing and on my own for no reason. I love making negative money to make YouTube videos. It's awesome. That's the other part of it too. I think with all this stuff is like, we can also just, you know, get like minimum wage jobs, and that might be better. You know, that might be more money than trying to make a YouTube channel work without a Patreon or financial backing of some sort.
I always think of the guy who made Kenshi, and I think he was like a night watchman.
Yeah, I think you said that. Yeah.
Well, he was working on the game solo for like, I don't know. The game took like almost a decade to make, and I think at least like 5 or 6 years of that he was doing it solo. And I just picture him as like a night watchman coming home as the sun rises and be like, all right, time to make like a fucking giant sandbox RPG by myself.
I mean, it is kind of the perfect job to be a game dev for, because like it's the middle of the night. No one's going to message you. You're the night watchman. So it's not like somebody's going to be watching you. You could just do whatever you want on your computer the whole time.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then the question is, are you going to make a genre defining sandbox RPG or just, you know, play World of Warcraft on your laptop? Although that sounds awesome.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun to be lazy. It's also a good thing to do. Okay, we got some more emails here. Let's hop on into the next one, Frank, about N64 games.
Carlos asked about the creepiness of N64 games. Hello, guys. In a recent episode, you discussed Petscop and the website with rumors of finding the Triforce in Ocarina of Time, remarking how creepy these are. I consider this relates to an inherent strangeness or creepiness of games from that era. Even games that are supposed to be cheerful, like Super Mario 64, had some unsettling or cursed moments. What do you think causes this? Is it design, aesthetic, or narrative choices, or just the fact that we were younger when we played them? I'm not as interested in games that were deliberately trying to be scary like Resident Evil, but the ones that had involuntary, creepy vibes.
Yeah, that's sort of what we were talking about earlier with the children's movies that end up having those scarier moments in them. It's like whether or not that's on purpose. I think a lot of that stuff is on purpose because developers at the time were like, that's funny. That's a funny thing to do. There was no like moral police who were going to be like, you can't put a scary piano in Super Mario 64. Yes, you can. It's funny. That's a funny bit. Or like a piranha showing up randomly. All that stuff was like, it was there on purpose. Because, you know, I think a thing that we tend to forget about is like video games were made by adults. Like, I don't know, maybe when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, this is, kids made this, right? Because I like it because I'm a kid and the kids must have made it. It was made in a little sweatshop somewhere. But no, like, you know, adults have fun and we like making little jokes. You know, how many things have we worked on personal creative projects that have like a dumb little joke that's only for us in it? That like, you know, that's what these things end up being. It's like a lot of the time it's like a creepy thing. Whoa. And it's like, no, it's just, I don't know. Some artist was screwing with another artist in a department, left a little drawing in there and it got out in the full game. And it's like, now there's all this lore around it. It's like, is it creepy or are the content creators making it creepy?
I think it's also like part of what this email is alluding to is sort of the same reason that people find liminal spaces interesting.
Yeah.
Is that like it's the creepiness of sort of like negative space in these places without purpose or things that feel like a lot of people talk about like why Source Engine feels creepy or like empty spaces in Gmod feel creepy or something. I think there's something about them that because video games are so designed that usually when you walk into a space in a video game, the first thing you're doing is sort of scanning consciously or unconsciously for intent, for like purpose, for like utility, for like how can I interact with the space? What is the purpose of this space? And I think because video games are very like purpose driven, walking into like a back corridor in Mario in the basement where there's like no enemies and it's weirdly quiet, it feels very unnerving because suddenly you're just like floating. You're like outside of the there's no like framework for action or something. Yeah.
It's like a subversion of your expectations. Yeah.
Yeah. I think part of what is creepy about that in games especially is that your brain is grasping for purpose and it's coming up empty. And that feels very unnerving to us because it's like, I don't know how to relate to this space or something.
Yeah, no, that makes sense because later in Super Paper Mario, there's like a scene. You're reminding me by saying the liminal space Mario stuff, but there's a scene way later in the game where you like a game that is largely a big, you know, 2D, 3D environment, cute, bright, colorful like Mario. There's like a long sequence where you walk down a white void hallway, and it's like the creepiest thing. It's just the sound of Mario's footsteps plinking on the ground. It's like a really scary moment that feels so out of place for the Mario series, but that's what makes it work, right? Is that it subverts your expectations of that stuff. I never heard the hammer comparison, by the way, that was perceived as like Source Engine games are perceived as creepy.
Yeah, there was I feel like there was like a bunch of YouTube videos about this. I never watched any of them. There's I just Googled why Source Engine is creepy, and there's like a Reddit thread from 5 years ago. Why is the Source Engine so unsettling? There's a YouTube video. That creepy feeling. What is it with Source games? Is Source Engine haunted? The loneliness of Source Engine.
Yeah, there you go. There's the video essay version of that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like 5 video essays that have been made on this.
Of course.
I don't know. I think a lot of it boils down to just that that liminal space thing. It's like when you're in the fucking back rooms, it's like it's creepy because of how ordinary it is. I think that's why people have a fascination with it. Nocaps is carrying her cat off the desk. It's really cute. You guys can't see it, but it's fucking cute.
We promise it's cute.
It's like half remembered childhood memories, I think, is also part of it, which I think relates to that's the Mario 64 thing. Is like everyone. I haven't seen the Backrooms movie, but I watched a short interview with the director just because I was kind of curious. Because to me, a lot of that liminal space stuff feels very like aesthetic driven. Like it's more like about a theme than it is about a narrative or whatever. And it was interesting to see, I think his name's Kane Parsons, talk about what the idea of liminal spaces or backrooms are. And it's that it's like these half remembered place. Everyone remembers being at like, at a motel as a kid on a road trip, or like being in, places that don't have purpose. Actually, he mentions that now that I think about it in game design terms. He was talking about how like a living room wouldn't be like a liminal space because it has sort of like purpose, but like the weird upstairs hallway at your friend's house when you have to like go upstairs to use the bathroom and you've never been up there alone, like that's more of a liminal space. So I think it's like a lack of definition of purpose, I think, is what makes these things creepy.
Yeah, I think there's a reason that it's usually rooms, or why maybe actually that explains it with the Hammer games or Source Engine games, because that level editor is so boxy and square. It's like there's no obvious expected curves that you imagine in your mind. It's just like a box place that doesn't have form or structure that you would expect from nature. It's just like a place that should have a purpose with no purpose. I think you're totally right. Like
that's actually a great point. It's like if because games are a communication thing, it's kind of like if someone mailed you imagine how fucking scary this would be if you got a letter in the mail with no return address on it and you opened it and it was a blank piece of paper.
Yes,
that would be fucking terrifying.
Yeah, that's scary as hell.
Because like why does this place exist if it doesn't have a purpose?
Yep.
And like, why would someone mail me this letter if there's nothing on it?
Especially in video games. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I think when you're in an empty source fucking map or whatever, it's like, what is going to like pop out and scare me? I think usually games, when they get very quiet too, they do it right before something happens. So it's like a feeling of anticipation.
It's like when you don't hear music, something's gone wrong. Like your game, is it going to crash? That used to be a thing in, like on the Wii. I think I'd have like scratch discs because I was terrible at taking care of them. And sometimes you would like stop hearing sound effects in a menu and you'd be like, fuck, the game's going to crash. And then it would. But there was like that brief moment where you're like, am I dreaming? And that's what liminal spaces are to me in my mind. Do you guys have any thoughts on this? No caps, Frank? You have any horror game thoughts? Why things are scary?
The thing that like I was thinking about, especially with like early 3D games, is like it was like a new visual language. I feel like with 2D art, pixel art, we perfected it. I mean, especially SNK.
Yeah,
it was like, damn, this looks great. Then going to like N64, PlayStation, everything kind of looked shitty, but it's charming now. But it's like, I don't know. You like look at Bubsy 3D, but at the same time, if you're a kid, everything is new to you, and so like. You're being thrown this new visual language, which like no one's taught you how to read. You still don't know about the world. Like I didn't know anything about guns before Metal Gear Solid. And I was like, oh, a FAMAS. What the hell is a nuclear warhead? Like that's what I learned about all these concepts because I'm playing Metal Gear Solid at like 8 years old.
Yeah.
So it's like you're learning like these real life concepts through like essentially Lego blocks, like with the polygons. And it's like, I don't know. So it's just like your brain is still developing. You're looking at a visual language that like my parents can't decipher. They're like, what the fuck? Like it's all garbage to that. They don't understand it. Like the early graphics, like, so it's like, yeah, it's just, I think as a kid, you're still perceiving stuff. But now as an adult, it's like you can make connections and like, but yeah, it's so funny. Like you're trying to read something, which there is kind of no guide to read. And it's like, everyone's figuring it out. There's no universally agreed upon of like, even how cameras would work back then. So it's just like, it's all kind of new. And I think as a kid, whatever connection you make is going to be so unique to whatever your like cultural and educational makeup is at that time. And then like you assign a concept, then 20 years later, that's still in your head. Like if I boot up N64 games, I can look at something and be like, oh yeah, as a kid, I thought this was this. Now I read it as this. But it's like, yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's like, it's like playing these games is like you're permanently in a dream state. Cause it doesn't look like reality, but you're making whatever connection you can, and everyone's connection is so unique, whether that's horrifying or whatever.
But I do think that's interesting, though, that like you're totally right. Everyone has their own like weird perception of a particular thing. Like you'll remember something in a weird way, and you're like, that scared me for some reason. But then liminal spaces, like I feel like everyone kind of, you see a picture, and it seems to cross cultural boundaries because I have friends from around the world who like have moved to Canada, and I've shown them stuff, and they're like, yeah, that looks like I get what you mean by liminal space. It looks like that. You know, you see like the inside of that hotel room with all the windows and like the weird parkway in the middle of the hotel from like a picture in Russia or something. Everyone agrees that looks scary, but like why? You know, I'm sure there's a deeper reason to it, but I always find it funny when like people bring up very specific things that they did as a kid and everyone else is like, yeah, I did that too. I'm like, no, is anything original? Are we all just the same thing mutated 40 times? It's weird. Or like, let me throw one out here, actually, see what you guys think. When I was a kid, if we're driving in the car, I'm looking out the window. I imagine a person running next to the car. Do you guys do this too?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We're all freaks. See?
Of course, like running on the like power lines.
Yeah, on
and
the
stuff.
power lines. See?
Yeah.
There's something wrong with all of us, and it's all the same thing.
We all have the same illness.
All the same brain illness. All right, next email, Frank. This is a good one.
Matthew asked about Yakuza games. Hi, guys. I'm fairly new to the Noclip Crewcast, but I've spent the last 6 months working my way back through them. Having recently gone through a breakup and house sale, the podcast have always made me laugh, and I look forward to each and every episode. This question is more for Frank, but any help would be great. As a fellow lover of Japan, they're hoping to go back later this year, I've been wanting to get into a game that might just scratch the itch. I have never played a single Yakuza game before, but after listening to Frank speak about them with such enthusiasm, I thought I'd give it a go. But where do I start? I also love turn-based RPGs, if that's any help.
Well, there's your answer. You know, there's only 2 of those. Frank, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if you like JRPGs, like, yeah, start with Like a Dragon, the like 2019, 2020, the yellow cover with Ichiban, because it's a brand new story. It's JRPG. It specifically takes place in Yokohama. So if you go to Japan, please like play that game first, then go to Yokohama, and you'll have your mind blown. If you continue and play Infinite Wealth, there's a lot of crossover. So I'd recommend like doing Kiru stuff out, like do other stuff before getting to Infinite Wealth. But I feel like you can play Like a Dragon on its own as your first one. And it's, that game itself still might. It's right. I like all the Yakuza games. Kiwami 2, just in terms of gameplay, mini games was probably my favorite. But yeah, I think Like a Dragon might be the best one. I thought I loved it so much. And like its JRPG stuff is so silly. It's so funny. I really like that one a lot. Nice.
Do you think tonally, like, because that game is so different tonally from the rest of the Yakuza, or at least I think anyway. It's closer to the earlier Yakuzas than Infinite Wealth is, but it's a lot further away. Do you think like that would hurt going back to the earlier games, or do you think there's enough, because I haven't played the full thing, do you think there's enough like Kiryu interest to make you want to go back to the earlier games?
Yeah,
or would it
I feel like
too weird?
Like I feel like you'll be sold on just the like flavor of the games, and I feel like every Yakuza delivers that, and every Yakuza has such a unique identity. But like, yeah, I feel like if you like that, you really could go any direction. Like, I always am curious of anyone whose first Yakuza is like Kiwami 3, or not Kiwami 3, but like Yakuza 3, like the Okinawa one, because like that game in itself is so charming, but the pace of it's so different than any other Yakuza game. But when I think of Yakuza 3 on its own, it's like, damn, I kind of like that one, but it's such a different vibe than the others. Yeah, I think you can start with Like a Dragon.
There you go. No caps. I think everyone else here has played some of the Yakuza games. Have you played any of the Yakuza franchise?
Nope. I'm getting my info here too. Which one I should start with?
That sounds like you should start with 7. I mean, yeah. Do you have any interest at all, or?
Yeah, it's always something that I've been like, oh, like I'll play that at some point when I'm just looking for a big game to just, mess around in. I don't, one day if I see it on sale for like $3 or something.
There you go. That's usually what it takes.
And like Kiwami 1, I feel like is a game you can beat. I think my clear time was like 26 hours. Like the first Yakuza is like pretty short and manageable. So if you did want something that's not over, like Like a Dragon is like an 80-hour game, and then like Yakuza 0 is also like a 60-hour. Like those are big games, but like the original Yakuza, like whether it's Kiwami 1 or original, it's like, oh, that's like manageable. It's a little dry, but then as you go further, side stories get silly and stuff, and the game the franchise only gets sillier as you go on. But like, yeah, I mean, like
even Kiwami
Yakuza-
2 gets pretty funny. I remember
Yeah,
I started playing through the series, and it's like I think that has the construction management stuff with Majima in Kiwami 2. Everyone's Korean in Kiwami 2. Yeah. Just gets weirder. It's good. It's a good series. Yeah, check it out. No caps. No pressure. But if you don't play all of them, my next podcast, you are kicked off. Okay, last email here, Frank. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then Michael Wren asked a question about books. I want to say thank you to Jeremy for recommending Blood Meridian and getting me to read it. I want to return the favor by recommending Between Two Fires if you haven't read it already. For the rest of the crew, do you have any book recommendations? Maybe something that reminds you of a specific game or something that puts you in the mood for games. Maybe a book you read that you might imagine the main character as a character from a game. Would love to hear some suggestions and recommendations.
Between Two Fires, is that Zach Galifianakis
Oh, you
book?
motherfucker!
Sorry. No, I have heard of that book. I've heard it's really good. I can picture the cover in my head because it's popped up a bunch of times for me. I should read it. It's been a while since I read anything. I think the last book I read was like late last summer. I read the oh my god, what the fuck was that book? Frank, you read it too. What was that game development book?
Dungeon Crawler
There's
Carl.
Askawada.
That was the name of it. Yes, thank you. But it's been a while. I haven't read any fiction in like a year and a half. I don't know.
Oh god, there's a book I'm like half in the middle of reading it. I cannot remember what the name of it is for the life of me. It's sitting on the edge of my bed, and I just never, or on my nightstand rather, and I just never finish reading it. Oh God, I'm never going to.
I have
The
a book I
Marigold.
don't recommend.
Oh,
What is
go
it?
ahead.
Well, this is the one that I was looking it up. Mr. Penumbra's 24-hour bookstore. Like it started off as like, oh, this guy works in this bookstore, and it's like the front's a normal bookstore, and then the back has all these like old tomes and stuff, and it's like he works for this like mysterious old man. And it's like, oh, that's cool. It's gonna be like a mystery thing. And then I was just looking it up for some reason. People were like, oh yeah, like I hate the way that like his friends like magically have all the solutions to the problems and stuff. It's like, oh, this person is like a super hacker girlfriend. Like, how convenient is that? Like, she's so hot and she can like hack into this stuff. And then this other guy that like can like make a replica of this book so he can like swap it out. But then, yeah, I was like, yeah, I hate actually all of this. So I stopped reading it.
That's the hard part with books is you can't like with a game, if you don't like how it feels 30 minutes in, you're like, yeah, all right, put that away. But like a book, sometimes you got to get chapters in before you're like, well, now I got to finish reading it, but I hate it. You know, I feel like I get stuck in that a lot. The one I was trying to remember is The Marigold. It's a Andrew F. Sullivan book. It's about an apartment building in Toronto, and there's like this breakout of a fungal sort of like, it's like a disease, I guess. It's a bit like The Last of Us, maybe like the cordyceps fungus. And I was going to say you play as, because it does feel like a video game in a lot of ways. Like the way they talk about going to locations. There's like these two workers who are one of the set of protagonists, and they go to these locations and they're sort of the fungal cleaners dealing with all this stuff. And like you see them. You don't see anything. It's a book. You read it. But like they walk through the experience of discovering where the fungus is. What's going on with me today? I can't say words. Where the fungus is, and like cleaning it out and seeing how it's affected things. And then there's like a chase sequence pretty early on in the book where they have to run away from something. It's like I think they're worried about getting infected by it. I've been reading it in pieces to my son to help him fall asleep. Maybe don't read the horror book, Jess. What's wrong with you? It's a good time. It's an interesting book. It reminds me of that video game. I interviewed the developers at Soft Rains, Ambrosia Sky on Noclip 2. It reminds me a lot of that, like very similar ideas. There's like a little bit of romance in there as well. So it's a pretty, I would recommend the book, I think, if you want something that makes you feel like you're playing a video game, because on reflex, I said play as reading a book. By the way, I joked. Has anyone here read the Dungeon Crawler Carl books?
Dungeon Crawler Carl.
I think that's what it's called, right?
I never heard of that.
Yeah, Dungeon Crawler Carl. It's a series of books by Matt Dinneman, I believe. Yeah, Matt Dinneman. I have had people recommend this book series to my wife, to me, to lots of people. It's very popular. There's like 100 books. No, there's a lot of them. It's doing really, really well. It's in a genre called lit RPG, literary RPG. I don't know. There's something about the title that Jeremy laughing is exactly how I feel every time somebody brings it up. It sounds like a fake book that like a protagonist in the Minecraft sequel is going to have read or something. Actually, Dungeon Crawler Carl sounds like Minecraft Steve.
Yeah. It does.
Yeah.
Why, when I Google this, is there a picture of Seth MacFarlane? Are they making a Seth MacFarlane movie adaptation?
Dude, he's Dungeon Crawler Carl. Can you? No.
Is he playing Dungeon Crawler Carl?
I have no idea. I hope not. Maybe he's involved with the production of like some movie adaptation or something. Most people who have read it have done the audiobooks, by the way. So
Universal International Studios buys Matt Dinniman's Dungeon Crawler Carl with Seth MacFarlane's Fuzzy Door and Chris Yost attached. All right, so he's like producing it. This is from
wow.
a
I
year
can't
and a
believe the
half ago.
Family Guy producers are doing Dungeon Crawler Carl. That's awesome.
Dude, I can't believe Peter Griffin is going to be in
Holy
the dungeon.
crap. This is just like that time I was in the dungeon with Carl.
It's just like that time I was Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Holy crap, I'm in the dungeon. Oh, good Lord. Okay, well, if anyone who's read that series has thoughts on it, feel free to email us, podcast@noclip.video. Leave a comment on YouTube, message us on Discord, whatever. I want to hear your thoughts on it because it has that tinge of like, if a lot of people are telling me they are reading a book and they're like, it's the first book I've read in a long time, it's probably a bad book. No disrespect. It's just usually when everyone's reading something and they don't normally read books, I end up reading it. And I don't know, maybe it's a hipster part of my brain. I'm always like, this is kind of bad. Like everyone told me Aragorn was good. Wasn't good. Or Aragon. One of those two. Not
I was like, Aragorn?
Sorry,
Is it like a fucking spinoff?
I don't know anything about the Lord of the Rings. Is it called Aragon? Am I thinking of the right thing?
With the dragon? The
yeah,
blue dragon on the cover?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Everyone was hot on that book and I read it as a kid and I was like, this blows. Like this is
I never
bad.
read it. You know what book I was thinking about recently? Speaking of young adult fiction, did you guys ever read The Giver as kids?
The Giver.
That book fucking
Think
rips.
so.
That's what we say up here when you got to try harder or something. You got to give her. That's the giver.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
No, The Giver
No, this looks
wasn't
really
it?
sad, actually.
It was Lois Lowry, right?
Yeah, Lois Lowry.
It's like a young adult dystopian fiction about like a future dystopian society where people have like their emotions and memories suppressed or something, and like no one experiences like the highs and lows of life, but there is one person in the society who's the designated like holder of memories, and they're the one who has to like experience like pain and sorrow and all these things.
Oh, wow.
And a kid has to become the next like that. It's about his like apprenticeship as being the only person in the dystopian world who experiences like anything.
That's a cool
but
setup.
it's very like I feel like the reason I liked it as a kid is it reflects sort of like the reason I find game development interesting, because it's like about a sort of pedagogical relationship between a guy who holds a bunch of experiences and a kid who holds none and has never experienced anything. And he's like passing off memories of like pain and sorrow and romance and all these things to this kid. And I feel like that's kind of why video games are interesting to me, is like they're like experience containers or something. You know what I mean? Like more so because when you experience a piece of linear fiction, it's like there are characters that are sort of like proxies for you. They're like your avatar in the world. But I feel like video games really are like, it feels more like it's happening to you because of the level of agency. So
Totally.
I don't know. The Giver is interesting.
Very cool. I had never heard of this before. I might have to give this a read, or at least watch the 2014 film adaptation starring Jeff Bridges.
I
can't say
guarantee that's dog shit.
No, it has Meryl Streep. How could it be bad? I've never heard of it before.
Fuck it, they're trying too hard to get stars in it because it's not good. What does it have on Letterboxd?
I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm
Do a
going
fucking
3-2.
Okay, wait, hold on. I didn't look. I opened it,
Okay.
but I didn't look. I'm gonna say it's like I haven't seen it. I'm gonna say it's a 2-7. Let's see. Any other guesses?
5 even.
Wow.
5 even. Oh my god, it's a fucking 2-7. I sniped
Wow,
it.
you're so
That's
good at that.
crazy.
You're still so good at that.
Holy shit.
Way to go.
I want $100, please.
I refuse. Take that, Meryl Streep. Way to go. Broke her Meryl streak. All right. Well, hey, that was the podcast this
Can
week.
I recommend books?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I
I'm
probably
my
read
bad.
the most
No,
books.
you didn't.
I apologize.
No,
I read a book a week, at least a book a week.
I read a lot too. Yeah. You didn't pop up. I didn't. My bad. I didn't. Yeah. Sorry.
I would recommend, since we talk about video games and whatever, I feel like a book where the protagonist is a very video game brain is Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. It's about a girl who's like, it's like, she doesn't talk about ACD or autism, but it's like every sandwich must be lined up properly. But it's about a girl whose life is dedicated to the conveni. So this pairs well with, if you're going to play Yakuza, you pop in the Popo, or if you play Inconveni, that new game about convenience stores. But Convenience Store Woman's good. It's really, really good. But if you like that, then her follow-up book, Earthlings, is one of the most fucked up books I've ever read. So, you know, like there's a light version. Like my default is to recommend all like the horrible, shocking. Like the last book I read was literally a book about Japan's porn industry. Like,
Nice.
I feel like I just consumed transgressive media, but Convenience Store Woman's like very wholesome and sweet. It's still kind of dark. I don't know, not dark, but like it's it deals with Japan society, whatever. But like it's a light book. But Earthlings is like shocking. So I would recommend both books. She has a newer book I haven't read yet, but yeah, Sayaka Murata's like everything she writes is amazing. The way she perceives stuff like just like gels with my brain very well. So maybe it is like the OCD link or whatever, but yeah, Convenience Store Woman's fantastic.
Nice. All right.
And a quick read too.
Hell yeah. Those both sound great. I might check out Earthlings. That sounds really good. Yeah. All right. That's a podcast. Thank you so much for listening this week to the Noclip Crewcast. Again, the games that we talked about this week included Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden, 007 First Light, Reanimal, Rayman Origins, Skate 3, and Pinball FX, of course, the most important of all of them. And, you can support us at patreon.com/noclip, allowing us to do this podcast, all the cool work that we do. We got some upcoming stuff. It's the same stuff you heard when Danny was here last week. Same documentaries. He's out, so we're waiting for all that stuff to come out. But we do still, as Jeremy mentioned, have things going on in the background. Everybody's working on their own projects. Frank's got that pinball video he's working on. I'm working on something about the Cosmo D's video games. If you haven't played any of those, I suggest checking them out on your own. Off-Peak Tales from Off-Peak City, Moves of the Diamond Hand, out in early access now. Check those out. I think they're all very cool. I think most people who are into what we did with Computer Worlds would probably really like those games. So look forward to that video in the near future. And nocaps, you have something you're working on with. Is that going to be out this week, or is that going to be maybe next week? Maybe we should hold off on saying what it is.
Well, let's leave it a secret. Okay. I hope that it's out by the time this podcast goes up, but we'll see. All right,
we'll look out for that one, folks. You'll see it on Noclip 2 at some point in the near future. I think it's going to be really good. So yeah, check it out. Check out everything that we're working on. And, at this point, we are, as we head out of this podcast, we have about 40 minutes before the State of Play starts. So as we leave, I want everyone to make their big prediction for the State of Play. 40 minutes in advance. Jeremy, take it away. What do you think we're going to see at the State of Play?
They're going to show like 30 inconsequential more seconds of the new Naughty Dog game.
Interstellar
and you're going to be able to taste all of the overworked crunch. No, I'm just kidding. I don't fucking know. I mean, that is not a, they are.
That's not a joke. Yeah, it's awful.
Crazy. They've talked openly about it. I'm not speculating.
Nocaps. What are your thoughts?
My gut tells me another release of The Last of Us could be a hit.
Yes.
Inshallah.
That's so good. Frank.
I feel like it's way too early, but I would be stoked if we got any like Stellar Blade 2 tease. I feel like that's like 2027, so maybe, I don't know, but Stellar Blade 2. I bet also, I feel like Tokon Marvel, like that's actually PlayStation's like a first party game. I bet we'll get like some new character reveal or something, but.
Yeah, I could see that. Another Marvel character they throw in there. Honestly, I have no idea. I hope they show Banjo-Kazooie 4. It's Sony. Who really knows? I don't know. They'll probably show Intergalactica's a good guess. Probably a release date for that Horizon Zero Dawn multiplayer thing. And I feel like they got to bring back a franchise everyone's waiting for. I think today's the day they show Sly Cooper is back. It's time, folks. We need more mascot platformers.
What about this? It's a trailer. It doesn't say what it is. It's a close-up shot of a man's lap. He's wearing orange and purple pinstripe pants, and he puts the PlayStation controller into his lap, and it starts vibrating. And he goes, "Oh, behave!" And then you hear "ba-ba-na, ba-na," and it's the IO Interactive Austin Powers reveal.
Bringing it back. Okay, that's the perfect spot to end on. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next week. Stay groovy, baby. Yeah, baby. Getting ready, baby.